organized. Got calm music on at the moment. Alright, I see shorts, horizontal, and there goes Twitch. So I should be live everywhere. Majma! Hi everyone! How are you guys? Hope everyone's having a good New Year's Eve.
Yes.
Is everything good on your end, Squee?
Oh,
I want to make sure that you're all set up before we go into introductions of what in the world Sketched Out even is. I do see your stream up though, so it looks like it's functional.
Yep. Just did that. I'm good.
You do not have many rewards.
What do you mean?
You've not set up point redeems yet. You just have the basic stuff,
I have
like highlight message.
Almost no reason to.
Well, it doesn't give me much reason to mess with it then. Hi, Dark. How are you? You have access to all of mine. I want to be able to use points and mess with you.
Physically, how can I do not have the capability of doing so.
I don't know. You could do voices or something. Just have one where it like makes you speak in a different
I
voice.
do that normally.
Yeah, but it's different when chat forces it. Hi, Cheese. How are you? Hi, Greg.
The things I technically could add through VTuber Kit aren't great.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll have to set them up. Like, there's the give head pat thing, a throw object thing, drop object 1, which misses, object 2, which also misses.
But goes away off to the side.
They like accumulate on the floor enough or something. Like, I have no clue.
I have no idea either.
They bounce, but they go everywhere. And then there's the clear objects. There's also the wild card, which does something random. And none of them are spectacular, and the only time it's interesting is if I spam it.
Alright then. That is certainly a thing.
Yeah.
And now you are just head with legs. Alright, so who wants to give the rundown? There's also what? Ah, fair enough, fair enough.
Why am I tilted?
I don't know. You just got tilted.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's the use mark.
Tiltation sensation.
That's new.
Hi Nisa, how are you? So who wants to actually give rundown on what Sketched Out is?
So, I forget, it was D&D terms, correct?
So
like,
we're...
But I'm saying everything is explained in...
We're trying to make a D&D thing.
Best, which is D&D.
And at least for this time, we are using the Mimic, and are hashing out new ways to use that thing.
Not exclusively the Mimic, but we'll probably end up changing it, let's be honest, we're autistic enough.
We're gonna try and stick with the Mimic, and I will drink water.
Oh,
I am drinking, not water. I am...
Dark,
I'm drinking vodka.
I will be using drawing, but the other two are mainly going to be sketching out like how the thing functions, like stat-wise and things like that. Because I am not too big on stats and combat in D&D, but I can do how a thing looks in its lore.
I'm good at words.
I do both.
Yep. So the first one we're starting with is, I specifically wanted to do a ship mimic, because I've done one before for the gauntlet challenge we did for Rokomatsuri.
Can't start normal, like normal mimic stuff, apparently.
No, there has to be ship mimic.
I mean, do we want to start with normal one, or do we want to start somewhere interesting?
Also, give me a second, I'm going to try to rejoin
normal one's
on
interesting
PC.
enough. Like...
Well,
what's
do
not
you want to give us a
interesting-
rundown of a normal mimic then, Squee, and I'll just doodle a mimic over here?
Right. 1 second.
It's a mimic.
Do you
What's
want
not
to give us the
interesting about
rundown?
Look, mimics can come in all shapes, forms, and sizes. Their default form typically looks like a granite rock. When they are shapeshifted, they're sticky. With what? Adhesive, not cum. But they can take a shape and form of many different things. Some people say, well, on their own work, that it could only be just, but in most things, it's just any inanimate object. So Kat already said a ship mimic, so that is a big form. I think there's even a stat line in one of the D&D books for it. There's doors, spoons, or my favorite is the spork. Small chest, big chests, average chest,
I'm gonna stay
not
on
a woman's chest. Basically, as long as it's inorganic. It also has to be something that it has perceived get used a lot. So if you're just humble little baby chest thingy, and you notice, well, this person seems to be using the spoon more, well, you just start to change and be a spoon instead. There also is how these things came to be. One thing says it was a wizard who wanted his treasure to protect himself, which is my favorite way of doing it because they're awesome.
Yeah.
But some are just, they're wild creatures. Mimics also don't get credited for being smart. They are pretty intelligent. You can barter with them. You know, give them a couple gold, and they might not eat you. Or they still will. Who knows? But, yeah, mimics, they're, I think, simple, but complex in the both best kind of way. But yeah, they're just funny little guys. It gets more interesting in the ways they attack. You get the pseudotendril, you know, the typical thing, or its tongue. Or you can full on Dark Souls this shit and just make them whack and kick the shit out of you. That is the best way. Buff Mimic all the way, would 100% fuck. I need help.
Should I turn this one into a buff mimic then?
You do as you will. There's so many types. You can literally make a mimic however you want. Like the customability of a mimic with just it way it changes form is there. Like over here, Cat has 2 mean-looking eyes, but on the one I have in my room, it's 8 just little beady eyes. Like no mimic needs to look the same, even in like the world.
Bailey,
What?
I don't have a specific New Year's resolution. Sorry I didn't answer that sooner. I was waiting a bit for
Oh,
Squee to get to a good stopping point.
yes.
Alright, so anything else you want to talk over about the mimic, Squee?
Oh yeah, I basically put all the key points.
Alright.
See how later.
So that is the the broad strokes of the mimic, so you would say.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
stat, for reference for stat.
Do you have the stats up?
Yeah, that's why I got my computer out.
Woo! Go over the stats then.
So Squee is very correct, albeit mimics normally only get used in like one way, and that is just to be a very simple surprise and then a very quick combat. But they actually do have 17 strength, which if you didn't know, max for most characters is 20. I say most because you can technically cheat the rules a little bit if you homebrew. 12 dex, which is above average.
Not even
Yeah. 15 con, which is again well above average. 5 intelligence, but namely, remember, that is below average, but it is not like 1. It is not no intelligence. It does have intelligence. It's just lower intelligence. 13 wisdom, which goes into what Squee said about recognizing patterns, and 8 charisma. You can bargain with it, and it having a lower charisma, if you go into something that compares your charisma versus something else, that is generally what would be used against a mimic because it has a slightly lower charisma
I
than
will
most.
also say, 8 charisma certainly means someone's into it.
Yes, it can. If it
You've
tried,
seen that.
yeah, if it tried, if you made a passing gesture at it, it could possibly pick it up and try to pick you up. And it has 17 strength, so it's probably going to succeed.
But there also is, that is average mimic. Average
Yes,
does not mean all.
this can
Make your
all be
mimic
changed.
how you want.
Yes, if
you
I
want
ever say
what
stats,
Cat is
it
drawing
can be
right
changed.
now. Yeah. If you like what Cat's doing right now, this mimic clearly has a 20 in strength.
Oh god. Oh
I can't
god,
draw
it's buff.
Cat, can you make him have web feet?
I don't want webbed feet on this. He's supposed to be like buff legs.
You can have buff webbed feet. Have you seen a frog? Like, jeez.
But also, I think like that's a blanket statement we should do for this whole stream. Hey guys, even if we say something that sounds cool, or that we go into the lore of or the stat sheets of a beast, D&D is made to be changed. This is a baseline. That is
Yeah,
what
I
people
mean,
forget.
That's
The
any
rules-
RPG.
Yeah, the rules are there to be a foundation, not the commandments.
Not to mention
You
the
can
entire
deviate.
premise of this is we're gonna deviate and do something different.
Yes,
So
kind of
yes,
like I had
take
an
our stuff
idea
and do
for.
it.
Yeah, I had an idea for my idea for a mimic would just, it's literally just changing the stats up for the mimic. Like literally, if you just shuffle the stats and make what's lower higher, and make what's normally higher lower, it makes an incredible, but keep its shape-shifting abilities, it would change its personality entirely.
There's also a character version of typically what I do is I like to play traveling merchants a lot,
Yes.
and I always manage to convince my DMs either let me start out with one for at least a higher level. I would say it's 5 is when I convince them to give me like a small one. Or if we ever encounter one, I will try to convince it to join me. And basically, it'll be my chest that I keep my money in, but I'll also feed it.
Oh,
No,
also,
Bento,
I
I'm
did
not gonna eat
forget.
uranium.
I did forget 12 natural armor, which is that's like fairly average because it's what? Do you even have a combat rating? Where are you? I gotta find it. Give me a second.
Its combat rating is actually pretty high.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a combat rating 2.
Yeah.
Most people play it like it's like a 1.
Yeah, mind you, combat rating does not mean how hard it is to fight.
Yes, I know. I'm also gonna say some things that are like. Yeah, I'm gonna say some things that are like somewhat translated down in case there's some people that don't know
Yeah.
D&D at all.
But the challenge
Like
rating
for-
of monsters is very stupid. I hate the system
Yeah.
a lot because it makes almost 0 sense.
Yes,
'Cause
kind
it
of
is-
like
It doesn't show how hard it is to fight, but it tells you what it is to fight.
Kind of like
typically
a
people
goblin.
think- Yeah, I think goblins are like
they are a 1/4.
typically. I think what they said it is. Good God, my internet. Am I cutting off for you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Good God. But typically, I think they say like the challenge rating is if it's 1, a person at level 1 should be able to fight it. I just think that whole system is stupid. Because
I think it's really stupid
if you're
because
using a goblin, you're using a pack.
yeah, and
Happy New
so
Year, Ella.
but there's not a combat rating or a stat sheet for a pack of goblins because you run them individually. So individually, yes, they could be a quarter, but also its stat, while lower than average on half of them and at average on 2 of them, it has a high dex with a high stealth. So, and it has baseline intelligence. So you can get screwed up by a pack of goblins if they're led by like a goblin boss, which is a combat rating 1. Or any other intelligent being that can manage to wrangle some goblins together. They can really screw a party up for being a quarter level combat rating.
Goblins are never in more than like, or less than like 5, in my opinion as well.
Yeah, so that's just a good example. But like a mimic is a pretty good starting point though, because generally you're only gonna see like 1 to like, I don't know, like 3 if you want to be mean.
Yeah. My other problem with the challenge rating system though is it's not also just like, well, it doesn't make it harder to fight if it's higher. Because if you're going like, oh, this is level 2 monster, so it's great against a level 2 thing, but then it shit stomps your level 2. It also could do the direct opposite, like your party of 4 level 3s can probably shit stomp something with challenge rating 3, even if you only use 1. But it also could always do it to something that's 4. It has
not
no
to mention
sense in my opinion.
Yeah, not to mention, there's a lot of, I don't even know if, Tales from the Yawning Portal added a lot of reduced threat things as well, and gave them an official stat sheet. So, like, you can go against a beholder that's reduced threat at a lower combat rating than usual. But in reality, it would probably fight like a normal beholder, just a little nerfed. But you can just do that normally. Because again, foundation, not gospel. Nothing set in stone.
Yeah. What
So,
do you
I
think,
know,
Kat?
yeah.
I think it's stat stuff. I'm confused, honestly.
It's just not necessarily stat stuff.
It's basically combat rating system kinda dumb.
I have
just
not DM'd combat enough to really have an awareness of it is my issue.
Also he has 2 big toe.
But also,
'Cause
Kat,
I've
you've been in
got
enough combat for you to be aware of things I use.
I am
Yeah.
aware of how you do it, and I've also heard stories of people who take frickin' like kobolds or something and have them make traps, which then makes the encounter absolutely insane. So
Yes.
it is clear that number ain't enough. It depends on how you play it.
But
Yep.
then also sometimes number is inflated depending on how you play it or how your party
When
plays it.
when I say number ain't enough, I mean number isn't enough context.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's just too many variables that go into challenge rating for it to be like an accurate statement.
See, I wouldn't want to go against that mimic. That mimic would literally kick the shit out of you.
I can go against that minute. No problem. Easy clap.
This is a fun mimic to draw, though. So I guess the question now is, what next? Are we going over one of the mimics that we would create? Or is there something more you guys want to talk about first?
I felt like that was going to be the next step, would be going over what we would create.
What we would do with the mimic or different types in general. So now Kat can probably talk about her beloved husband of Ship Mimic.
It's not my beloved husband.
I still don't know the obsession with Ship Mimic.
It's literally just that thing of you have the mystical pirate ship from legend. No. Freaking out. Just you have the rumors and ghost stories about the ship that sails itself and kills any crew that tries to board her type thing. Cause you legit have that as a mimic. and like you have the whole story of the bard who managed to escape the ship by charming it. Because of course it's a mimic. It can be reasoned with.
Yes. But yeah, that literally goes into, dang, those humans sure do, or those, yeah, probably. I think that was a port of humans, primarily. Either way, they use those ships a lot.
Yeah.
And they're not going to question when another ship shows up. They're just going to be like, huh, it's not marked. I guess someone's drifted in. It's ours now.
Yeah. Or you end up with the town that has the story passed down through generation of, don't go near that ship with the black sails that occasionally shows up. You will not return alive.
Or they're trying to find the mysterious shipwright that made a ship in the middle of the night. Left it in the harbor.
Hey, going back to the talk of ship mimics or challenge rating.
Oh,
the Reddit post of the ship mimic, which is pretty much the best one based off of. Its challenge rating is 2, by the way, on this person's group thing. Mind you, this is like a whale-sized ship.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
They're making it have an armor class of 12 with 90 hit points. Only gonna give you 450 EXP if you kill it. It just another reason why challenge rating is weird. And people I feel like can get it wrong, but also I think this, although being the best base, just is not the best because like a full ass ship should have more than 90 hit points.
Yeah.
Per base.
Yeah.
Though I suppose like it feels like it should have more than 90 hit points, but there is definitely a way to just sink the darn thing. Like if you do enough damage to a single point, the rest of its health doesn't matter. It's at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, but so for reference, I just pulled up D&D Beyond's sailing ship. This is creature capacity can hold 30 crew to 20 passengers, so 50 people. Cargo capacity is 100 tons. Its travel pace is 5 miles per hour or 120 miles per day. Strength 20, Dex 7, Con 17, 0 intelligence, 0 whiz, 0 charisma, because it's a fucking boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Classified as gargantuan, 100 feet by 20 feet. Has 300 hit points.
Yeah, if a normal ship has 300 hit points, that is way too low for the ship mimic.
Yeah. And they have this ship being a huge class, which should be basically right under gargantuan.
Yeah. Question mark. Let me see.
If not right under gargantuan, then basically No, it's not. This one. No, yeah, it is the second because it goes tiny, small, medium, large, huge, gargantuan.
Yeah, that tracks.
So, if I could pull up another huge monster from D&D. Where are you? It's a large. Man, I feel like I'm ordering from fucking McDonald's. Alright, so the War Titan is a huge class creature with an armor class of 18 as its natural armor and 207 hit points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, I know the ship mimic is not based here, but I'm just like, there's just things I think people just tend to get wrong.
Yeah.
Is when you compare it to other things, and I would just like to call it out. Because the War Titan, its challenge rating is 16 as a huge class. You should not be going against huge class things until you're high level.
Yeah.
And ship mimic, if it is huge, which a boat should be, especially if the sailing ship is gargantuan, which is probably how big the mimic should be, you're not fighting that damn thing.
No, you're probably going to realize what it is and then not question it, just not go any deeper into the ship than you have to.
Yeah.
And the biggest reason why I know like most sailing ship and all that is because I actually did a boat-based D&D campaign. It is probably one of my more favorite ones I did.
Oh, and they had to like keep up with how much HP the boat had if they did combat or something.
Yeah. How much HP it had because they had cannon warfare, the capacity, and all that.
Hi, Space Runner.
Yeah. But
here's another fun mimic thing: the adhesive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
mimics
that's
produce
pretty
adhesive
funny.
when they're in the object form, not their base form. How does that work as a boat?
Difficult with difficulty. I would think
I
that
assume
maybe
it's on the deck. Kind of like a fly trap for anyone who tries to board it.
either that
Yes.
or you could do it in the fashion of maybe it's not like traditional adhesive, maybe it's more of a force and it like keeps it in the water. So say they tried to pick it up with like a crane, it would almost be like it was stuck on the water.
Bulky. Adhesive. Object form only. This creature adheres to anything that touches it.
I know, but I'm saying that you could move it around.
Yeah. The only problem with that is, it's basically this thing is covered in glue. I feel like if a ship mimic is like that, it would not be very good to be a boat. Because I'm assuming there is someone out there who was able to befriend the mimic and use it as its own shit.
Probably.
I mean, does the Mimic's adhesive apply to everything? Also, Space Runner. Currently, I am the only one drawing,
Yes.
but the other two can draw on this if they so chose.
It applies to everything, huge or smaller. So it's just hard. Like my best way that I would run it.
What's the size
Is-
rating of the ocean?
It's the fucking ocean. But so the bigger the mimic, the older it is. So my whole
Yeah.
thought would be like, a a ship mimic, I'm gonna say it's gargantuan, not huge. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
smart.
This is an old ass mimic.
I would assume it's pretty old. I feel like the adhesive is probably not as strong, but still
Yeah.
there.
So like
So,
it
like,
feels
while
like
you're
it's
walking on
sticky.
deck, Just awful. But I
Yeah.
assume if you're walking around it normally, you've gotten used to that.
Yeah.
And at that point, let's say, Kat, you're on the ship mimic, you're its captain, and I'm over here trying to board your ship. Your entire crew is used to the way that the port is. You probably even made your own shoes to help distribute
Yeah.
how it is.
Mm.
My invading force boarding your ship is not prepared for that. You will have
Yeah.
home field advantage on your ship.
I mean that's also
Yeah.
assuming that the ship allows itself to be captained, because this is a mimic ship. It can just pilot
Oh, yeah.
itself. If
Well,
anything,
yeah,
it
no
probably just
problem.
has a captain as a decoy for like anyone who sees it from afar. Of just, oh no, there's a person on here. I'm
There-
totally
there's-
not the
I-
ship mimic.
I'm also thinking that
Hmm.
if you have a ship mimic and you are able to captain it, it's probably one that you've basically been with for whatever. Let's say
True,
there's one
true.
that you've tamed.
I'm just
or at least
thinking.
one that family has tamed or something that it's basically domesticated towards you.
Yeah.
That whole crew, their cabs are going to be great because they're constantly walking through
Yeah.
adhesive. Their cabs are going to be amazing.
Well, I could just picture like the ship is a mimic, but it is basically docile to your crew because it's been with it for its almost whole life.
Yeah.
It gets invaded by other pirates. They can't handle the adhesive, so it's hard for them to walk.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but it would probably make for difficult terrain,
Yeah.
which is a fun
Meanwhile,
way to
you've
work
got the
with the claw.
cosmic cav crew over here, just
Yeah,
lightly running through it.
bulk up. They never skip leg day because every day is literally leg day.
Exactly. That's why I'm trying not to giggle a lot because I've just got the pirates look normal other than their cat,
Have good at work, dog. And also,
like their calves and lower legs.
also, Space Runner, to answer your question, I am a shapeshifter, currently a cat girl.
I think it would also be funny, like, instead of ladders, you just, like, kind of climb the side with using the adhesive.
Either that or the ropes.
I mean, ropes and ladders. You just use the adhesive.
But I'm saying you
instead.
could just
So that
Spider-Man
it's
your
harder
way
for
up
other
that
people.
shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Boom.
like, if it's a mimic, it can move freely, yes? Or more or
Yeah.
less? So it could just move its ropes and lift you up to wherever the heck you need to go.
If it wants to.
Yeah.
The
The
ropes
question
are
is,
just
how much
tendrils.
does it actually function? Like, what is functionable in the mimic? Like, it can
I
become a chest, which looks exactly like a chest, but can it also copy, like, the pieces that a human would typically have to put on the main boat itself?
My guess is
Like-
that it would get the approximation. So you'd end up with, like, the pulley system that has rope down one side. So you could grab onto one end of the rope, and it knows, hey, rope on this thing supposed to move, let me move rope. It's not gonna move correctly, but it'll do it.
I don't think the ship mimic will know how the cannons fully work, is my thought. So I think, once again, back to if you've domesticated the damn thing, these are not mimic cannons.
Yeah.
Probably not even mimic sails, because the ones that are probably made of that are probably not very good at catching wind because, once again, they're made of him,
Yeah.
not an actual cloth material. It's made of mimic, which is basically granite. Which also goes to, how does this damn thing float?
Heck if I know.
It's like, no, never mind.
I feel like I also want to give an honorable mention to the little brother of mimics, aka the chest weasel.
Ah, yes.
This is something that I know Pointy has spoken about, and it's just such a good idea. But it's basically a fake creature that's a weasel inside of a chest, and it just fucks with people because it feasts off their anger. So, like, let's say Volky over here with his sticky fingers wants to go open this chest that he found in the middle of the woods, and it just slightly moves to the side before we can reach it. So once again, he goes to try to get the lock open, and it just moves again back.
And I just go, oh.
And then let's say Volky finally gets it open, and inside he finds another chest. And inside of that one, another chest. Inside of that one, another chest. And inside of that one, another chest. We're probably about 10 times
just chest.
Before
what do you mean it's just chest?
Finally feeds off of him enough to where it's satisfied, and it's like, yeah, you know what, you fed me well. Here's this little thing, and give him some random ass item. And then it just disappears. Like, it's just funny.
Get out of the chest style.
Also,
There's
Space Runner
more
had a really
chest.
good idea in my chat, which was one of the pit floors on the ship would have a mouth.
Oh, like that?
Yeah, that's what I was drawing up inside here, so I wouldn't forget.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I like that. Let me just think.
My question is,
Because,
imagine the eyes. Like, what's up? Like, imagine the eyes. Just, they're big. They're gonna stare at you.
Yeah.
Imagine going to sleep and an eye appears. Like,
It's just watching you. It pulls that. It just spawns a tiny rope tendril, pats you on the head with it. Sleep tight.
I
it's a
mean,
little sticky still.
given that the crew would sleep on hammocks, the ship would literally be rocking them to sleep.
Yes.
I mean, either hammocks or like hay beds.
I'd go hammocks.
You'd go a lot of things that aren't normal.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Well,
hammocks
they don't
on
even
ships
get
are
that
normal.
Okay. To
No,
be fair,
fire ship,
the
you wouldn't even get
amount.
that. You would sleep in the fucking bottom of the boat. You'd be ass to face and toe to toe with other men.
Yeah, so you just use their ass as pillows. You just find
like-
whoever's the most caked
Yeah.
up and hope they don't have indigestion.
The worst part is usually the seas are on there, so you'll probably just hear someone like vomiting and pissing like constantly down there. It's not good being a pirate, guys. If you wanted to be a pirate,
Yeah.
no, you don't.
You want to be a pirate in the day, not in the night.
You don't want to be a pirate, period. Like, it's not a good gig.
They did have
But-
strict hours and everything of everyone go to bed early.
Strict hours. The food was horrid.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
it was basically eating like a block of chalk. Except it also might be infested with bugs. So you know how they solved that problem?
Well,
How?
They told you to eat in the dark, so you didn't know if you were eating the mite-infested food or not.
ooh.
Yeah, so if you just thought there was some extra spice in there. You thought there was
Yeah.
some crunchy bits in there. Yum yum.
Also, the drinks you get, not very good either.
No, everything's watered down because what you do get is so scarce, but everyone's drinking because there's not shit else to do on there besides physical labor. So you're just
Well, even then,
drinking like
a lot of
piss
it-
water the whole time.
Yeah. The alcohol was only ever like, not only ever, but it was mostly in there to keep things from going bad in the water. Because you'd get like all your drinks. It has all the water you would need to keep yourself up. All this stuff, add flavor, spice, and all that. And then they put alcohol in it, just so none of it goes bad, and it keeps the mold out of the barrel.
That happened during multiple times in the world, actually. But one thing that was of note, I think it was either during or directly after the Great Depression in the United States, whiskey was cheaper than milk.
Yep.
So people used that fact and stored things by cooking them with whiskey in them, even if it wasn't good. And they would keep it below the point to where it would boil out. Also, they would just drink it.
Getting a history lesson in your lore video.
Well, I mean, knew we were going to talk about pirates and their shit liquor.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of random facts that come up. Like, the one that was in my head while you guys were talking was just that freaking rosehip tea is really good at preventing scurvy or something.
Yeah, exactly, because that's another thing. Do you want scurvy? You can get it really easy.
That was a big reason why there's the stuff in the drink, because they had like different things that help prevent those kind of like diseases, and that's why you also need alcohol. Make sure that shit doesn't go bad.
Yeah. And they actually bought these things with the money that they would steal, because you would think like, oh, I'm built different. No, the fuck you ain't. They have to live with you and sleep on your ass at night. They want you healthy. So you're going to drink it, even if you or eat it, even if you don't like it.
Though I do feel like, at least in D&D, if you had ship mimic and crew on it, you have like bags of holding and stuff like that. Surely you can store things better and preserve them in better ways.
Yeah. In terms of D&D fantasy in general, pirates have it good. You want to be a fantasy pirate because you'll have a bed. Your captain will actually not be a cunt, hopefully. But like,
you'll have food.
That's what you want to be, is a fantasy pirate. A real pirate? Hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like I said, if we keep it in the realm of fantasy, a lot of things are a lot better than they used to be. Like being a nomad in a fantasy world, it's a lot better than when you were being a nomad like a couple hundred years ago.
Of course.
Because guess what? There wasn't. Yeah, but say, guess what? There was not shit between stuff. Like, they're like, oh, I just go make a new town. Yeah. Just like, oh, I'm just gonna go make a new town. Okay, hope you don't starve. You probably starve.
But if you're on a fantasy pirate ship, you do have your beds. You're probably not going to be disease ridden. Hopefully, you have other problems. That's probably a DM.
You might have a couple bed bugs, but that's about it.
Yeah, you'll definitely have alcohol, probably rum, because let's be honest, the DMs are not creative. And no. So yeah, you'll be a good pirate.
Space Runner is asking if we have any books we'd recommend. Are you specifically asking for D&D books, or
are you talking about like book
mimics? Yeah.
Because I have a couple books.
I mean, I'd recommend a book mimic. You try to open it and it eats you. It's pretty cool.
That sounds like the frickin' Book of Beasts from Harry Potter, the textbook that they had.
Yes.
Yeah, like that. Except if you give it to anyone in your chat, or most of the people in your chat anyway, they would probably do heinous things to that thing.
What do you take my chat for? I mean, you're not wrong, but what do you take my chat for?
You already confirmed.
Answer it would be like that, except it would look like a normal everyday book, probably without a title, because I don't know if they can read and comprehend that. So it'd be a titleless book, probably a leather-bound hardcover, and it's going to be sticky.
Yeah.
At baseline, probably wouldn't be able to comprehend language by itself just from seeing it, but if it could possibly be taught language.
So you'd end up with a picture book.
Yes.
I
It could
actually
be. It
dabbled
could probably
with the
be
idea
taught.
of a wizard using a mimic as his spellbook.
That would be cool.
That would be really cool.
His whole thing was, shit, I'm out of spell slots. Go! And throw the book at people.
It's just chomping it.
But, yeah, because a wizard spellbook is very important to them. If they don't under spellbook, they can't cast spells.
yes.
So obviously you wanted this to be protected. Why not have it protect itself? Going back to why the mimic was made. The treasure needs to protect itself. Your spells can now protect themselves. Even better if you entitle to every page fireball. If someone touches it wrong, the whole thing explodes.
Yeah. But yes, so as we've described, many people use the mimic in very one-dimensional ways.
Yes.
There's
Also,
quite a lot that can be done outside of combat to
With
make
the
mimics interesting.
and Space Runner has elaborated fantasy-ish novel is what they're looking for.
I don't read.
This
I'm magic
also
player, I don't
has
read.
this series I'm gonna tell you I thought was good, but it's been years since I've read it. I know it has a show that I've watched a bit of, and it was okay, but I would probably read it instead. It is a trilogy titled The Magicians.
Mm.
It
I
is
feel like
just
I vaguely
like
remember hearing about that one.
it's like the magicians something in the magician's land.
There's this really
And I
good
know
book
it-
called Necro.
I feel like I missed what you said there, Squee.
What is it called, Squee?
So there's this really good book called Nekopara.
Oh.
I do not understand the reference.
The fantasy is cat girls who would actually like you.
Ah,
Yeah.
got it.
There's a
But
there's
yes,
a more realistic called 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Like You. That one's also fantasy because that'll never happen.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Should we go into the mimic ideas that we had besides strip mimic now?
If
I mean,
you
I've
want-
already given a few of mine, so yeah.
Well, I just didn't know. Okay, like I said, so mine was the stat shuffled mimic. So basically, it starts with low intelligence and lower than average charisma, and higher than average everything else. So what if instead this thing was just like baseline strength, like high dex, baseline con, high int, high wisdom, or high charisma and like above average wisdom?
So
So this would end up. Well, I'm saying this would just be a shifted mimic. So this would be one that's like trying to outsmart you and get you. Like it would probably use. It would use its like false appearance to try to make stuff to get you to interact with it more than something just trying to protect something. This would be just like a different objective mimic.
I feel like this would be a haunted house mimic.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
It's
here's what I
trying
was
to.
thinking with that. A mimic. It has one spell slot, but only can cast a message.
Yeah,
And,
like something with that.
Either it's a mimic, and there's two other chests with it, and it's you come in the room and you just hear, one of us is a mimic. Make your choice.
Yeah, so it's like something like that, But then I was going to go into caster mimic, but it only casts like illusion magic and trap magic. So it's trying to lure you in while
Oh, so this
being
helps me place
something,
it,
and
you
it's
got it.
yeah. So it's like trying to find what is the actual mimic before you die from its traps and illusions.
Am I dying or is he dying?
You're
Uh,
trying to kill it, but you're probably gonna
well-
die if you don't find it.
I think Squee was referring to internet issues there.
Ah,
And the answer is probably both of you.
yes, it's probably both.
I did not
My
catch
internet
shit
is not
on
super.
that. My OBS disconnected, so I'm just gonna end.
Alright.
Okay. So I was saying caster mimic, but it casts trap magic and illusion magic.
Hello.
Hi. Yes.
Hello.
Are you back, Squee? I think Squee is still gone.
Well,
Dark is over here suggesting phantom mimics, or mimics that make a like fake group of them, which sounds like the idea of the chests and it's disguising among them thing.
yeah, so it's like that. It's gonna try to disguise itself so it's not found, but it has to temporarily like open its mouth to cast or something.
Mm.
So like it can't. It's trying to protect something, but instead of just doing it itself, it is doing the area.
Yeah.
That's kind of what my idea was. There's other stuff that can do the same task, but I thought this would be really funny because then you just get to the complex situation of, oh god, it could be anything.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome
Hello.
back.
Just rejoined.
Nice.
Nice.
Is stuff working now?
No, I just had my stream.
Well,
Yeah.
I caught that bit. I'm asking if everything else is working now. Like, are you
Hopefully.
able to hear us and everything?
Well, I'm responding to you, aren't I?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
So let's hope it stays that way. Alright, so what next? We've talked about the ship mimic, we've talked about normal mimics, we've talked about mimics
said
hiding amongst other mimics or other
everything I
things.
know of.
We had a certain mimic that we played with.
Are you talking about Carl?
Yeah.
Sounds like Carl
Or
counts as a mimic.
Carl?
Well, no, Carl's cart.
Oh, right.
Cart mimic.
That was a pretty standard mimic, though, isn't it?
It was just
it was
cart.
a mimic. That was a cart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cart mimic, but then that goes into the adhesive problem again.
Yeah, why was Carl's cart not sticky? I love bug.
Because I ignored it. So I
Fair
found
enough.
that was
Exactly.
stupid.
Yeah, that's fair.
Exactly. That's literally the only reason I brought it up was because, hey, you can change it to do other stuff.
Yeah.
If you want an actual reason, though, of why it wasn't, is because he did have stuff on it. I don't know if I fully described Carl's cart, but it did have, like, velvet seats and all that kind of stuff, so you would
Yeah.
not have noticed.
Yeah.
I
so
remember
you
the
weren't- we
pillows and
weren't-
stuff.
So we weren't ever really touching the cart unless we were intentional.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have I fully told you what Carl was?
No, I don't think you have.
No, because
Because
I think
you
we.
want to know.
Well, I was about to say because
Do we want to know?
I don't know if we were ever going to ever get back into that. I didn't figure at this point.
I think save it for now, maybe later in the stream if we run out of things to talk about again, but Space has just suggested something that's also getting my interest now, which is an animal mimic. We've not talked about mimic animals yet.
It's normally inorganic things.
Well,
Because
let's ignore
mimics
that, 'cause
cannot
we can make our own
do-
thing.
living objects.
Yeah, I was thinking there is something that does that. Like, I know for humanoids, it's a doppelganger.
Yeah. What about for like a fox?
Ah, fuck, what is that? I've used it before.
Robotic animal mimics was also their suggestion. Oh, there goes Squee again. So I think Squee's still having trouble.
Yeah,
I think I'm just gonna take this chance to draw a creepy looking fox.
probably. Let me think. 1 second. Goodness gracious.
A system of mimics that work together. In what way, Dark? I'm curious. A pack of mimics would be interesting, but I'm curious what you're thinking on it. Like a mimic that can be a boat, other mimics that can be items on the
Hello.
ship. Yeah, that could work. Are you back, Squee? I don't know what the heck's going on with Squee's internet
Hello?
right now. Yes, hi?
Hello?
Are you back?
I'm going to off myself.
Please
Do
don't.
not.
I hate this.
I can tell.
Why is Discord being so fucky? I'm literally at like full Wi-Fi bars.
What if you tried joining from your phone?
Hello?
Hi? Yes?
Hello.
Hi. My phone's
guess-
fine.
So let's see how this works for a while then.
Ew, I don't like this.
I am sure you are not a fan of it, but it's probably better than you wanting to off yourself.
Yes. I don't. Okay. So after doing further research, unless I'm just not finding it right now, I don't think there is a creature that fits the bill of like an animal mimic perfectly. I think the best thing that you can have is like an incubus and a succubus can technically change forms. A Rakasha can technically change forms. Dragons can change forms to some degree, depending on which one they are. But transforming into a creature is less rare, I guess.
I mean, it's more
It's
rare.
more just there's a lot of things that can just kind of change form innately. So transforming into something like a fox is not as unique as transforming into any inanimate object. So it doesn't need its own creature for it.
So
transforming into any inanimate object. So it definitely needs its own features for it.
Also, I hear repeat from Squee. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do
Cool,
transform
my
naturally. So there is nothing that shapeshifts between animals to trick people, is basically what you're saying.
There's probably something. It's just I'm going through all the
You're gonna get a
monsters.
druid if you do that.
Oh, I'm
So-
just saying. There's the mimic's whole thing is swapping between inanimate objects.
Yeah.
There's not something that like purely uses that kind of trickery because normally they're just going to do that as a means to an end to get close to their target and then pounce. It would be like an assassin, or in the incubus succubus it would be to get close to whatever you're trying to take control of and then take control of or suck out their essence, whichever way you're running those. A dragon, they want to do things because they're high intelligence. They have very many wants, so they can take a humanoid form.
Alright. Silver dragons are the ones that are most commonly doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of different things that can say take the form of a fox
Yeah.
and just prance around for a little bit. But there's nothing that like that's its thing.
And,
Like there is a doppelganger for humanoids or a mimic for inorganic.
Space, I've never seen a Wendigo stat block, so I have no idea. But to both your and Grimm's point about high magic mimic can copy organic spell, that's one of the nice things about D&D is you can just choose to make that how it works in your campaign. If you want to do that, do that.
So I'm going to re-preference and say again a baseline from the book, taking off 5e tools, which compiles everything. You can technically give anything the shapeshifter or shape changer like type and say it can do that. Like again, foundation, you can change something as need be.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted something specific, there's like I said, like I think the Rakasha does it pretty well. If I'm remembering, it's a fiend and it has like innate spellcasting, and I think people often give it shapeshifting as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, also the infernoids in general, or the infernal creatures in general, kind of would be able to do that more, in my experience. So like I said, like an incubus, a Rakasha is a fiend, a succubus.
If you want things to animal, it's typically something druidic, due to druids being the ones that really can. Other than that, you're looking at something that can basically use polymorph. Hence, silver dragons are using polymorph to change itself into human.
Yes, and then if you want
I don't know how much y'all know of their stuff, but
I do not know much of anything. Is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, I'm not even getting into like the fae fuckery and how that could always. Well, no, I'm saying that was just an additional. As I'm thinking out loud, fae fuckery can be your answer for almost any strange thing happening.
Like my very unsettling looking box over here.
Yeah, that could technically be some fey fuckery.
Because it's definitely not your normal fox. It's clearly floating and doing something.
Yeah, it is.
I just saw a chance to draw a creepy fox and decided to go for it.
Silver dragons are interesting because they're the most common human polymorph thing that's human, blah blah. Because you also get changelings that can basically polymorph into other humanoid or races.
Mm.
But there's also shifters, but they don't fully change. Aspects change.
Mm.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like,
Hi, Desmond.
How you doing?
Have you come to join the conversation?
I came to see because I thought you guys were live, so I was like,
Yes,
let me
we
join
are.
for a little bit of
We
New
are
Year's.
currently live. Well, Cat is.
yeah.
Thought I'd join you for a New Year's stream for a little bit.
Fair enough.
Nice.
It is a fitting subject, given that we were talking about various D&D stuff around mimics.
Yes.
I heard D&D and my name was Paul.
Yes. But yeah, if you're also, like I said, the other one that's kind of their whole shtick, their whole gimmick, is the doppelganger, but it is specifically humanoids.
Yeah.
But it can there's more in the humanoid tab than you think there is.
Mm.
So you can technically use that, but you're not going to be able to go into like a fox doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another aspect of things I don't really like about D&D, is the classification of things. But it's useful. I just think some are weird. Because
Yes.
humanoid and goblinoid are not the same. That's why there's the whole debacle of what we had on V, where Desmond tried to hold a person I think it was a fucking golem, because it looked
yeah.
similar to a human.
Yeah,
But
and that
due
is a
to
construct.
classification, it's a construct golem thing, not human.
Bullshit.
It's
Yeah,
not about how
so-
it looks
and-
to know what it actually is. You can't hold a person a goblin because it's a goblin.
Which, you know, inadvertently you would think is kind of dumb because it's a humanoid figure, and it's the same classification
Exactly.
they have for like, it's the same stupidity they have for like corpses. Corpses are considered an item, not really
Yes.
a.
Corpses
a
are item
person.
objects.
Yeah, they're just considered objects. So it's like, at that point, there are certain spells really shouldn't work on them. Because
But they
by that logic, you should be able to take those
Yeah.
spells and cast them on different things, but they don't work on those things.
Yes, but they do.
I
But
feel like
they
there is
do.
there has to be a certain point where a corpse is no longer a corpse. It's just a thing type, like a singular.
Well, if you wait
skull
too
that is
long, it turns into a
pristine
skeleton.
and- yeah.
Yes,
Like-
but Cat. So the thing is, let's say I go decapitate this person,
Yeah.
they immediately become an object.
Ah.
There is no time
Yes.
between
Yeah.
them. They are an object.
And,
And
not only
but-
that, you
but
could
then-
take that head, and then you theoretically could put it back on a different body, mend the flesh around the neck
Because
or
it's
where it was
not-
decapitated, and then cast resurrection, and theoretically it
Object.
should work.
Yes, but then the fucked thing is though, even so, it goes from being a creature or a humanoid or whatever to you killing them and they immediately become an object. But if you wait too long, they become a creature again because they become a skeleton.
Or
Technically.
just a strip zombie. So yeah.
Or a
I-
creature because you heal them.
Isn't there like a time limit for how long you have before you can't resurrect
A couple
someone
of
anymore?
days.
Yes, based
Yeah,
on
it's
the
a couple of
spell.
days.
So since there's 2 resurrection spells, you have 5 minutes for revivify. Or actually, no, it's not 5 minutes. It's I think it's 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to revivify, and for true resurrection, the 9th tier spell, you have 500 years.
Like 40. There's
It's
something that's like
500 years.
something.
So
which
long as the
might be-
body hasn't been, like, if I remember correctly, it can't be mutilated. It can't be, cause of death cannot be of natural.
It has to be intact.
It has to be intact. It can't be
Yeah.
of, like, oh, you died of old age. You have to, and if I remember correctly, I think
It's within the
soul
last
has to be
minute.
willing.
Yeah.
Mm.
This might have been changed, but it is within player's handbook. It is you touch a creature that has died within the last minute, it returns to life, but it cannot return to life a creature that has died of old age, nor can it restore missing body parts.
Wait. Oh, they changed it. It's no longer 500 years. It's 200 years. So they shortened it by a lot. That throws a wrench in my lore. Fuck, no. I'll have to rewrite my lore. No.
And you can change things as you see fit.
True, I could. I wanted to keep it at least somewhat close to D&D, but I guess I'll have to stretch some things.
Also, so the reason I asked that is because I feel like they should become an object at the point you can no longer revive them.
Yes, I agree.
Well, then that would be after. I would feel like that would at least be after a minute, because Revivify exists.
Yeah.
Then you also have the 200-year thing for true resurrection. So would the body not become, because true resurrection is an option, would the body not become an object then?
I think that since true resurrection works on anything at this point, because at that point the body's decomposed. So
in terms of
died for no longer 200 years and has died for any reason except old age. If the creature's soul is free and willing, the creature is restored to full life with all hit points. The spell closes all wounds, neutralizes any poisons, cures all diseases, and lifts any curses afflicting the creature when it died. The spell replaces damaged or missing organs and limbs. I didn't know that the organs and limb part. If the creature was undead, it's restored to its Wait, what? Wait. If the creature is undead,
it's no longer
restored to
undead.
its undead form? It's not undead? What the fuck? I didn't know that part.
Yeah, so since it can turn undead into living creatures, I think Greater Resurrection should be able to turn objects back into living creatures. So I don't think...
yes, it does.
Yeah.
I will say also, when we're getting to, because for reference, True Resurrection is 9th level.
Yes.
For reference, that is the highest that most mortal beings can cast as of 5e. It didn't used to be the case, but after some lore fuckery, that is now the case. So when you get into 9th level stuff, you get into actual, like, changing of history and world level shit. Like, also you get into the point to where components matter. Yeah, like, again, component materials for that is a sprinkle of holy water and diamonds worth at least 25,000 gold pieces.
Which is
Yeah,
not
so
considered.
that one is not considered for how long it takes for a body to turn into an object, in my opinion.
But even just normal resurrection, which is no longer than a century, is 7th level, which is still high tier mage. Like, you're looking at lifelong mages. Most mortals are not even going to get to that point. Unless you are of different race and have more time to learn. And then it still takes a diamond worth 1,000 plus gold pieces.
Yeah, you also have the fact that with True Resurrection, it also stipulates the spell can even provide a new body if the original no longer exists. So that kind of counteracts the point that you brought up earlier, Kat, which is like, oh, what if the body is decomposed? It says in which case you speak to the creature that hears unoccupied.
You missed my point entirely. My point entirely there was the state of the body does not matter with True Resurrection. Therefore, if we are considering resurrection in reference for when a body should turn into an object, it does not matter because it does not rely on the body.
No, yeah. It relies on
Yes.
the soul.
And so that would
Yeah.
go into, I
Or-
would say, revivify is actually probably what I would go off of because it does not do any of that restoring.
Yeah.
But it's only a minute. You know what I mean? Combat ends, and
It is one
It
of
is
the
an
spells that
object.
turn an item into a character.
Yeah.
Because just the way the rules work, it becomes an object. But also the way those spells work is it turns that body, because it's still classified as a body, dead one, back alive.
Hmm.
yes. So, like I said, there's a lot of fuckery that goes on when you get to high level spell. And there is a reason why most people take the cookie cutter combat spells. And that is because if you take a lot of the other spells available, especially the ones that are no longer being printed, you will actually just break the game. Or bend the current rules past their limit. To where now the DM has to do mental gymnastics to be able to justify something.
That's where I feel like the rule of cool kind of like plays into
Oh,
effect,
yeah.
because you
It-
have to do that in order to like circumvent some rules.
If you get to the point to where you're casting 9th level magic and you try to do true resurrection, I'm not making you use 25,000 gold worth of diamonds in specific. Like I'd probably say you need.
You know, like where it's
Well,
like,
I
oh,
mean,
yeah, your
maybe.
character's built up towards it and they saved up all of it and they have to sacrifice it all.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm gonna say like just the gold amount,
Sure.
like of diamonds is so very specific.
Specifically, it has to be a clear cut, polished, even, no
Yeah.
no fogginess.
I'm sorry, you brought me a cloudy ass diamond. I can't take that.
It's not even
I'm sorry.
precious,
That is a
God.
sapphire. That is a sapphire.
Could you imagine, like, you're about to get resurrected, your soul is, like, being summoned back to life, and then, like, as you're about to get reformed, you see the diamond, and it's uncut, roughed up, unpolished, and you're just like, ew, you want me to resurrect with that? Oh, have some class.
Or you just get a pop-up card declined.
I could see it being like, sir, this is glass.
You thought you could rule. You thought you could
Oh
pull
my
one
God.
over on me.
Could you imagine, like, you go throughout the entire
Better yet, I
paper
could,
with that, like the player goes through like an emotional thing. A merchant is finally able to sell it, but like the player was either A, rude, B, a douche, or C, just seriously like the DM is just wanting to mess with them. So they give them a glass, like I have a glass diamond. They just give them a glass diamond that
You know
they
what?
don't even appraise it or anything like that. They just go with it thinking, oh, it's so big and heavy, it must be a real diamond.
Yeah, they're back there. They have both of them in your hand. You were a dick to them throughout this whole process, and they go, "What? You know what? Fuck your late master." Here.
Fuck your wife that you've been wanting to resurrect for 400 years. You know, just yeah, fuck them. God. Oh, that'd be so bad.
I could see like another one is they don't have a diamond, but they have like a $5 coupon, and it still works. It's like I'm a cheap whore, yeah.
Oh my god.
Just, you know, I talk about so nice girl now.
I got two.
Yeah,
pennies
you
and a
bought
dollar.
you bought the diamond. So it's like the other one needs a diamond singular worth 1,000 gold pieces or more. So you just get one on sale for $9.98. It's not enough.
Wait, okay, so here's my question then. So you brought up the singular diamond part, right? What if you brought in a
Oh, ton of
bunch
little
of like
diamonds.
tiny mini ones that would all equal up to 25,000 gold? Would that then work?
Technically, no. It
And that's the stupid
specifically
part.
in the specific components material of the player's handbook, it says a diamond singular, worth at least 1,000 gold pieces. Which,
think a way
to
you
be
could
fair,
a way you could circumvent that though is going to an alchemist, and then like maybe seeing if they could fuse the other diamonds together to make one.
oh yeah, or like a
singular
jewel or something. You can probably do that. But at the same time, it's like, no, I'm sorry, that's 2 diamonds worth 500 each. That's not gonna work.
diamond. Oh god.
Card declined, card declined.
I'd be so upset at that point. I'd be like, I went on a journey for decades to get these diamonds. I had to scrape by with blood, sweat, and tears, and you're telling me that it ain't gonna work? Nah, sorry, Chief. You got too many diamonds. But they all work to 225,000. Nah. It's like the people. It's like when you pay.
Well,
with
what if the
pennies.
diamonds were just like not even actually part of the spell, but like the priest that uses the spell, he just takes it as payment. So you just kind of see him like,
Oh,
yeah, all right,
I'd be so pissed.
well, you got me a diamond. He just tosses it to a side and you just see like a pile of more diamonds.
Oh my!
Oh,
that would enrage me beyond belief.
but that is a
Chris,
way
why
that
do
you
create
could flavor
violence?
it to make sense. That is a way that you could flavor it, because the other way to do it is it just says that they disappear.
Ooh, wee.
The spell consumes the diamond or the diamond.
Wait. You actually made me think of something even better for like a D&D plot hook, right? So
Yeah.
priest, right? You give the diamond to resurrect. There's an advertisement that their brand new priest is able to cast true resurrection, right? So
Yeah.
they do that. They cast true resurrection, but they require that diamond. So you have noblemen and all these other. They go to the priest in this little church. They get their loved one resurrected. It works, quote unquote. And they hand over the diamond, the whatever. Then, a few days later, suddenly, these loved ones, they die. It's inexplicable. Not from like a stab wound or anything like that. When it comes to find out, the priest isn't actually casting resurrection. He's doing a necromancy spell along with an illusion spell, so that way it makes it look like it's actual resurrection, and he's just pocketing the money from the diamond and all the shit that
And he's
you're
just
getting.
got another dude. He's just got another dude using a movement spell on the diamond to make it look like it was consumed.
Exactly. That would be
Exactly.
such a lot for
See,
a-
that is so fucking funny. It's stuff like that.
Oh my! That would be so awesome. And then you have like a whole like pyramid scheme of it. Oh man, that'd be a great D&D hook right there.
I did find something else that I wanted to talk about
Mhm.
as well, though,
Mhm.
and that goes back to the beast things, and it's or well, I guess kind of just a concept, because we were talking about it was first a mimic and different kinds of mimics and how you could use the concept, and then we got asked the question about other shapeshifters. I was thinking, so there are some in here already pre-made for clockwork things. And it is very funny to me because clockwork, it seems like these were in their Monsters of the Multiverse. So that is supposed to be like a multiversal thing.
Okay. Oh, is it? Wait.
But
when you say
people
clockwork, are you
always-
talking about those guys with the eyes that are like animatronic.
No, so these are guys that is, think, Steam level mechanics. So we're talking like Steam but for some reason it's always like brass and bronze metals.
I feel
And like
okay,
think
so-
a lot of gears, a lot of moving, clicking parts.
Do they have any kind of mastery over time? Because what you're
No,
describing is
they are
very
just
similar
made
to-
of clockwork. And it's
Oh.
supposed to be like those giant clocks that were made, like, think Big Ben. It's supposed to be
Oh.
if the innards of Big Ben were, I guess, a whole concept.
That'd be cool.
And that was made for other
Have
things.
fun,
Like
Chris.
there's a
Don't hurt
clockwork.
anyone.
like there's a clockwork dragon here, and it's like, okay, that's like, it's kind of cool, right? But it's also just like, kind of why? I don't get the obsession with, like, I like the aesthetic.
Like
It's
makes
just,
sense
it
if,
keeps
like,
coming
Artificer
back.
was making these things, and like they were like the main villain of the book, and these are the monsters that they created out of like replications of other monsters. That'd be kind of cool, like a variant of like all the monsters that are in D&D, like a goblin, a hobgoblin, or a dragon, you know, whatever it be. That'd be kind of cool. But are these like their own separate beings that are just clockwork based looking?
Yes.
That's so weird.
I hate
Like,
those
they have their own
things.
stat block and everything. But so yeah, I think I've asked you this before. What is your opinion on clockwork in general, Sweet?
I love clockwork when it stays being clockwork and doesn't come alive.
But I think I asked this before. That's why I brought it up, because I wanted to expand on that.
So do you like the Dwargon in Skyrim? Like their golems?
What?
And whatnot? Do you not like them?
The dwarven mechanisms that come to life in like Skyrim.
Yeah.
Those? I like those, but they're not living beings.
Yeah, like
Dark
all
Souls
the clockworks,
Okay, I see what you mean.
all the clockwork stuff in D&D is technically considered alive by itself.
Hmm.
It doesn't specify why. But basically, the only difference is it just gets a shit ton more natural armor, lower or like kind of lowish hit points, and a ass ton of immunities.
I would imagine so, considering the fact that it's completely metal.
Yes, but I'm saying like that's pretty much all it adds. Everything else is like the same.
That's kind of stupid. That I'm not gonna. At that point, that's just like saying, like, oh yeah, this boss is too hard. Let me throw
Yeah.
the mechanized version of it.
Like I said, for the dragon in particular, one, there's nothing on here that says what clockwork is supposed to mean. So if you don't already know what that means, I guess Google it.
Space to answer your question.
But it
if you're
has
talking
like
about, how
fairly
they get
normal
narrower,
stats,
yes, they are.
and like it kind of a decent armor class for a construct. But the only thing, it just has its bite and its fire breath.
I'm sorry, it has fire breath?
Yes.
I would have figured it had an electric breath, like a lightning breath, because you know.
No.
What?
The only difference is it has
I
false
feel like-
appearance, which means when it's motionless, it is indistinguishable from a metal statue.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense.
I think the fire breath makes more sense because at that point it's just a flamethrower. It's gonna be a lot harder
Yeah.
to project the lightning.
It's like
So,
the steam
because-
yeah.
Because like I said, remember, most people give in media, if you've seen it, they give clockwork as design. They normally make it a little bit too high tech for what it's supposed to be. This is trying to say,
it's
what if we were
looking
stuck in the
like
Steam Age
weird.
for a lot longer?
True.
I don't like lightning in general for magic and stuff. I think the whole lightning element of electricity is just not good.
I mean, like, good.
Granted, I also look at things from science, so
It's just
If-
a lot.
it is almost impossible to send like electricity as a bolt at something. I know
Without it
magic
becoming,
is
like,
basically
plasma.
able to. Yeah, that's why lightning is so like weird. Honestly, it's
I mean, yeah, but at the same
Just
time,
that
it's kind of
strong.
like a suspension of disbelief, because like you can't really
Yeah.
make like water.
it's one thing with magic. Yeah. But like if I'm using a Tesla coil as like a gun thing, it won't work because it's not a magic thing if I'm using just electricity.
I mean, you can't
Yeah.
aim a Tesla coil.
Yeah.
I mean, you
So
probably- you
basically,
probably could, though.
No,
the
like,
way-
Tesla coil works by connecting to nearest object. You don't aim a Tesla coil.
Yes.
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
I feel like you could though. Like you could like magnetically
How?
charge an area, a specific area down.
You
a
could
barrel
certainly
like that.
point it in a direction.
Yeah.
Whether it chooses to shoot
Yeah.
anything in that direction is one thing.
Yeah, it could be like a
It's-
shotgun essentially, like a shotgun Tesla coil.
It's
So when
just gonna
talking ab-
take the shortest path to whatever it's trying to connect to. So nearest
Yes.
object.
That's fine.
So-
It's the,
Probably you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember. I think this is in chat. Please excuse me if I get any of this wrong. It's been
Chat,
actually
please correct
used.
him.
No, please no.
Please,
Dear
chat.
It's
God.
engagement. Please correct him.
I think the way, if you take lightning as an example, the way that magic for electricity should technically work is it's a lowering and raising of potentials. That is the only reason that lightning actually strikes Earth, is because it takes the path of like its least potential, I think, or most, one of the two extremes. And it just finds a spot on Earth that has low potential, and it follows a path down, and that is why lightning is shaped as it is, because that is technically the least potential path down to the Earth.
I mean, that's why you also see
And-
like the branches branching out from the main lightning strike, which is it's trying to actively find paths to go down.
Correct. So technically, what casting lightning bolt should be would be manipulating air and like the currents between you and your target to lower potential to send out natural electricity.
That would be a good explanation of lightning. But then how would you
This fucks with a lot of things, though.
Oh yeah, you definitely require like a lot of like mental thought. How would you things like lightning storm? Like you can call down or like a lightning strike in like magic. Wizards that call that down. Wouldn't it be
Pray.
like what?
Pray.
It's still modifying its potential and just hoping you get the right target.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like you
Yo,
literally
I'm going to
just
Storm
stop.
Wizard. I think I'm sitting under a tree.
Exactly. It's something stupid like that. Like you could literally just get the main way to combat a wizard would just be to like bring a fucking fan or something that can aggravate the potentials of nearby things, and just just learn tad bits of the magic yourself and then just make something higher potential besides you or lower potential.
A Storm Wizard's worst enemy would be a Druid, because Druids do not wear metal armor at all.
Yeah,
And
like,
so I feel like they would just
conductivity
bring
is
around
shit.
a metal rod.
I mean, I would say
Like,
yes
they just
and
bring a
no,
metal rod around and stab it in the floor.
because the fact that it's not just the metal that attracts them. It's the fact that if they're in an area that they are the highest point, their staff and or they themselves are going to be attracted to that, are going to be what the
Yes,
the
that's
lightning
that's
attracts
why the second point I made, they bring around a metal rod to stab into the floor. That way it goes to the rod and not
You're
them.
risk that lightning hitting you as well because it'll travel.
But it's less of a chance.
Life's a gamble. It's a gamble. Life's a gamble.
Life's a gamble, exactly. Plus, you're also not gonna. You're also a druid. You're covered in flammable objects. If even one of that lightning, the flammable objects on you, you're screwed.
Okay, but you act like
Life's
a
a
gamble.
gamble, it's a gamble.
Into that.
Now, how would you explain ice magic? Like, if
Ice magic, I like a bit more because I more picture it like my favorite ice spell is Ice Knife,
Yeah.
and its whole component is water. Like you need a drop of water.
Mhm.
So what my characters used to do for that is they spit on their hand and turn that into the Ice Knife.
Isn't saliva considered not water? Because it's got a bunch of contaminants and different minerals and whatnot.
It is more than 90% water.
So doesn't
Will
mean
in
I can
fact
spit
have
on
water
it.
on your hand if you spit on it.
True, but like, does that mean I could water?
It'll
like,
have at least more than a drop.
Oh god,
Yes.
could you imagine that? You water a plant with your spit?
But the component for Ice Knife is literally a drop of water to
Hmm.
make it. So if you spit on your hand, that's more than a drop. So they would spit on their hand, that would become the Ice Knife, and then sling it. The way I picture that working is literally like the chill of the magic is in their hand, forming into a knife.
Ooh, what you
So I
could
picture
do
like
as
all
well-
the ice spells are like your hands becoming physically cold to do it.
Yeah, that's true. What you could do as well, right? You could like make them cry, take their tear, turn it into an ice knife, and there you go. You literally stab them with their own tears.
Oh man.
Volky's like, damn, I should have thought of that.
No, that is some cool things. No, you can just make someone that's just like eternally sad, or like one of the dudes that cries from being overexcited in like an anime or something, and have him be an ice wizard, constantly
That is
making daggers.
terrible. Alright, let's see. So, okay, what about...
I'm trying to think of other
other kind of wizards?
okay, wait. We were talking about unconventional ways to use a mimic, right?
Yes.
Or how they're usually used. So this one's slightly more on topic than the clockwork discussion was.
Wait, as a... are you talking
This
about, like,
I'm
as a
gonna
player or as a DM?
no. This is as well, technically both, but primarily thinking DM.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Twee this first, since Twee is, I think, the one with the most experience here.
Well, it's a
How
good
would you
candidate for it.
use draconic or dragon in something that hasn't been used? Because it's so commonly used as either an excuse or something else.
Wait, what?
Wait, repeat
How
that.
would you do something draconic, origin, or dragon related in a different way? Because there's a lot of the ones that always get made commonplace, like, oh well, dragon related to fire, so this is the Dragon Buster or some shit. Or
So it's just like
how would
draconic
you
armor and
take
weaponry?
how would you take the draconic and use it for something different? Say, like, take one of the other dragons in mind that's not as commonly used.
Ooh, okay, that's actually a pretty good question.
Already done something similar. In one of my campaigns I've done, it was all about flying around a zeppelin. This was like taking place as a
Okay.
continuation, not in the same world as one of our other campaigns we did with my family. And they were helping this guy named Watson. It was a whole detective company that he would do, and he inherited his father's zeppelin, and he hired the party to basically help get the materials to construct and even go out and fly with it.
Okay.
The material required dragon wings to make the wings of the zeppelin.
Okay.
What they didn't ever find out is that depending on what dragon they would have used, in this case they use a red, it is now resistant to that type of damage. So you still get that, like, it's draconic, it's going to be resistant to whatever they got, but it's being used for a vessel.
Okay. See, that is something different, because like I said, most of the time they get like the dragon tooth and they make a blade out of it. They get a
I
dragon
think that's why.
scales and they make a shield out of it.
See, I do something
Good.
different with that. I lean more into like potion making, where like you take. Because I remember one of the DMs I made or campaigns I ran. I had my players go and defeat I think it was an ice dragon, and I had them defeat it. They killed it, barely, but they killed it, and they were decomposing the body and shaking it apart. And for the quest that they had to get, I believe it was the tongue, the intestine, and they had to get a bucket of the blood. And they had to take that all back while while they carried it back, I made it so that way the ink of it attracted monsters. So that way they had to basically do like an escort thing. And then once they got back to the alchemist, there you go. They forged it into several different potions that would do several different things. So the blood would act as a natural repellent for other monsters, mixed in with different ingredients. The intestines gave, which is what they came to get first, was like a digestive potion to help them resist things like not only frost damage, but they would also resist things that dealt acid because of the stomach acid of the dragon. Then I had the tongue, which was more meant as not only just a potion, but one of the players did cut the tongue in half. So they used half the tongue for the potion, the other half of the tongue, they crafted it into a necklace, ones that have like the little locket. And they put the tongue and infused it into the locket, so that way when the player adorned it, they would be able to not only speak in Draconic, but would be able to cast a certain amount of runes in Draconic a day. And I gave them, I think it was a 1d4 dice. One, they failed it, they misspoke, and they bit their tongue. 2, 3, and 4 were different types of runes they could cast on a surface.
And then what about you, Kat?
I don't know, because I've not had to make many creative things like this. I think if I had to go with something that was unconventional draconic object, I feel like just using like it's kind of overdone already, but the dragon poison as like its own kind of poison to feed into something else is always kind of more interesting than going just the fire route.
Yeah, so you're saying like use. So if you would see poison, which ones use? I know there's some of them that use poison.
Or like the acid from the acid dragon to etch in a magic circle onto an object type thing.
Yeah, so you're saying just use something that's just not fire.
Yes. Got snowballs.
That's exactly kind of like I was thinking. Like, if you wanted to, you could technically go into like, for some of these, like the gold dragon has like a weakening breath. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So you could have something go off of that. Yeah, gold actually. Yeah, it's one of its breath weapons. It's just no one ever fucking uses it.
Wait, what? I actually never knew of that.
Yes,
telling me that
I
half
know.
My ancestry has a weakening breath?
Yes, kind of like there's a moonstone dragon. Most people don't even know that one exists.
I know about the moonstone dragon, but I didn't know about the freaking weakening effect.
And that it has a lot of control over, like, dreams and thoughts and visions. So you can technically, if you wanted to, have them kill that and then make fucking, I don't know, make a magical bong.
I know there's a dragon, I think his name is Agamoth, I think. I don't know, he's one of the really high CR dragons of like 70, I think. And his whole thing is he wants to be not only an immortal dragon, but he wants to be a part of every single dragon. So like he's got an ice breath, a fire breath, an acid breath, a flame breath. He's even got a what's it called? I think he's trying to work on, in the currency of the D&D lore, he's trying to work on a breath weapon that will literally strip any item of its magical enchantments. So if a party goes up to them in magic gear, he can just breath weapon you. It won't do any physical damage, but it will annihilate any of your armor, either whittling it away or just straight up stripping the enchantments itself.
Yes, like, and there's a lot of other stuff that is unique about some of the dragons that don't get used. So it goes beyond just using a unique dragon and then giving them a unique effect. Kind of like something I like is the layers. For some types of dragon, there's specific layer action qualities that you can add.
Yeah.
Like the copper dragon, you can have fucking laughing gas. Or is it
love
this one,
which
or
is
which
so
one is it? Is
fitting
it
for them.
which one is it? It's either copper. Was it fucking copper?
No, yeah, copper, because copper dragons like to talk.
Yes,
They love talking
yes.
to people.
You literally can put laughing gas in their lair in text.
Literally, I think one of the ways you
silver
can
dragons
escape
are
a
also
dragon,
fun.
or a copper dragon's like grasp. I feel like they've discovered you in their. Either A, give them a painting of really nice value. B, regale them of a story that they haven't heard from your own life. Or C, sit there and literally listen to them talk. Be warned,
Yeah.
you will listen. You will listen for quite a long time, but
You'll
that's
be
the
there
way-
for probably more than a day.
most likely.
Yeah,
They
and then
already
what were you saying about silver dragons? Because I haven't looked up those as much.
have- Oh, I
Silver
love
dragons-
dragons.
They're my favorite type of dragon.
Mhm.
They, like I said, they're the ones that you mostly find as human, especially in like random like high-end towns.
Yeah,
They,
I remember
at the
that.
end of their lifespan, have to pass a test. They literally have to pass a test on everything they learned in their life, which is why they be human to help themselves learn things easy. If they fail that test, they restart their life.
Mhm.
Oh,
They
so
have
they're
to keep on living their life until they pass the test. Their whole goal is to make it to their afterlife.
Yes. And
That's
what sucks
awesome.
about them, but also is really good about them, is the fact that silver dragons will always find lifelong partners, and not just romantic, but like relationship-wise, like friendship-wise. They will always go for long periods of life with these partners, and they tell them, "Hey, listen, I am a silver dragon. You are the only one that is going to know I am a silver. No one else will know. And at the end of my life, not only do I want you there, but I want you to take my treasure hoard full of historical artifacts, full of magic items, gold, whatever it be that I've gained. I want you to distribute that throughout the world. I don't want the end of my life to be hoarding wealth and not doing anything with it. I want the world to gain these relics, to be remembered, if you will. Even though no one will know who I was, that I was the one that gained the world to have. Which is such a lawful good thing for them to do, and
Yeah.
they are technically good because it's silver.
And then that goes into the topic of every type of dragon has a different thing they covet and or want with their life. They're not all just chaotic dragons trying to burn cities.
No, that's just the chromatics. That's just us. we a lot of us like red dragon and chaos, green dragons. I don't remember what the green dragons are. I know blue dragons crave leadership and they crave militaristic adventures. I know black dragons, we crave straight up destruction, like literally decay and destruction of an empire. We will buy nearby a kingdom and slowly watch it fall into ruin, and we will. What else? Blue dragon, or not blue, ice dragon. I don't remember. I think it's just solitary because they don't like any other species. They don't even like their own species. I know when dragons mate with ice dragons mate with other ice dragons, they just do the deed and then split. They just run the other direction. They don't like talking to each other. They actively hate. Well, not hate. They just. They're the biggest antisocials in D&D that.
Oh god, I've gotta find it. I had a monster. I wanted
Good
to
time.
see
What I
what
missed?
Cat thought about.
Oh, was that Squeak?
What is it?
I
I
have
don't
to
know what I
find
missed.
it.
I went to.
Oh,
We were just talking about different covets of dragons, depending on which one they are.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just over here drawing a dragon tail.
but
now.
I don't know exactly what.
Silver Dragons are just cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're amazing. I love them. I know. I'm trying to think.
Desmond and I agree on something? Great. No, I hate Silver
I know.
Dragons.
I thought I was your favorite dragon. I mean, to be fair, I was
my
raised
love,
by
my
other-
dear. You don't even break the top 20.
Wow. Even though I was helped raise, I was by a silver dragon. How dare you? How could you?
Okay,
I'm not a Silver Dragon.
while I wait, while I try to find what I was actually looking for, I have found something I don't think we've talked about before, and I wanted to ask Kat specifically
Oh.
because I feel like she is more she can get into lore and feelings. How would you make a civilization of
Cat has
merfolk?
feelings?
Cat.
I missed the question because Squee was questioning whether I have feelings.
How would you make a civilization of merfolk?
Of merfolk.
Ooh, that's a...
You're gonna have to give me a refresher on merfolk specifically.
So they
What
are.
elves?
Yes,
Those things.
they are basically ocean-bound elven creatures, but they have ties to mermaids. They have ties to pretty much. There's been a variant of merfolk for almost every aquatic fish, if you can think about it.
Mm.
So I think there's been actually no dolphin folk, or they're technically a merfolk. Fuck it. So how would you make like an ocean-bound fish race civilization?
An ocean-bound fish race civilization would probably be one that, like, focuses on husbandry of like corals and things like that. Because you can't really three-dimensionally keep fish unless you're literally creating a three-dimensional net enclosure. So they might do that, but they're probably more like the herbivore type ones, where they're eating algae, they're eating things like that they can more readily farm.
Fucking bottom feeder.
Yeah.
Imagine you go to like the merfolk people
Well,
and they're like, what do you have to trade, dear traveler? You just take out some fish food.
Also, I am going to send you a picture
Cat.
of what they are similar to.
Would that be considered
Okay.
racist?
What you just said, I just picture like let's say your party's like has a merfolk god you underwater, and you just see like some guy on a rock like just licking from this rock of algae. And you guys like, please ignore him.
I imagine they're
He's,
more
like,
going
hunched
for
over
like
and almost-
kelps and stuff though, or like creatures that are slower moving that they can raise, like sea stars, sea
But
cucumbers.
do remember they can still hunt though.
Like they can still hunt, and I'm sure that they do like
Here you go.
hunt down whales or something to get freaking meat from time
Yeah,
to time.
It's in Tuesday.
Yeah, but you said like the vegetarian ones that eat algae. And that's what my mind went to.
I figure
So they
Well, 'cause
normally
So what's
pick.
fucking a rocky piece of vegan?
I feel like they would absolutely, like the merfolk would take like manatees, since like they're considered the cows of the ocean, and they would just raise them to be cows in like their own civilization, and then they would use whales as like the equivalent of what a woolly mammoth is on land, where they would just hunt them in packs.
I feel like the issue with that is just a
Dude.
logistics one of how do they keep them in one
They,
place.
and there's
I think-
another one.
The
Well,
one thing
manatees
that you
are-
could
manatees
do
are-
is have it where, assuming that they're in the big open ocean,
Mhm.
if they kind of
Big open ocean.
if they tamed sharks to scare them back into like the perimeter of the town, then they could like keep them corralled. But
Yeah.
I don't see them like actually making pens like we do for cattle.
It'd be
Also,
fun.
another thing I was going to mention is normally the thing that you might think of as Atlantean is
Hmm.
normally what people will draw to whenever they hear merfolk, because the people that are supposed to have founded Atlantis or that live in it now sunken Atlantis. So normally they have designs similar to what you would think of Atlantis. Big pillars like Roman style pillars or Greek style pillars rather.
Hold on, I go to when I think of merfolk.
What?
Pure unbridled rage and anger because I hate those damn wet elves. Magic the Gathering has spited right saw on them.
Alright, we're getting into
Stupid
some racist
Cynic
here.
players.
Yeah, so Squee is coming at it from the magic side because there is merfolk in Magic.
Hackball should never have been made. He is stupid. I hate him, and I hate anyone who plays him. I have his deck.
So you would have them basically say they're living in the wide ocean and there are other people living on land. You would have them stay more solitary, almost like
I
tribal.
usually see them as they don't like other people. I feel like they're, for lack of better words, prejudice against anyone coming in. They will have other people in, but I feel like it's the constant like, I wish that guy
Have
wasn't
good
here right now.
space.
But also that's coming from the idea of that's usually just what an elf is like. They don't really like others. But I also
Okay.
just think elves are stuck assholes, so I hate them.
I think you'd have to also like, you'd have because I know.
Yes,
I know
space.
in
The
real life we'll
VOD will
have,
stay on YouTube. It is
tribal
being streamed to YouTube
civilizations
as well
that
right now.
will dive underneath the water and like can like hold up their breath for like 18 minutes or whatever, and they can like really sink down there and they can be there a long time. I feel like the merfolk would have like a subsection of their civilization that while they're at the coral reef and their civilization is towards like the more shallower waters, still deep but not too deep, I feel like they have a subsection of merfolk that would like go to the edge of a continent and like see the dark abyss, and they're just like, wee, they just fucking start diving down.
Yeah, so there would be like deep sea merfolk, shallow. It would be like sharks. Like there's the shallow water merfolk, there's the deep sea merfolk, and they would all look different, probably to mimic the different fish that live in those areas.
Yeah, the fucking abyssal.
Now, and we're not getting into how they came. I don't want to think of that.
100%. I'm thinking more of. I'm probably thinking like.
I don't want to know how they come. Personally, I'm not that into fish.
Okay, well, you're not
Well,
far
you
off
see,
from
they,
what I
they
was
come
thinking.
independently. They lay the eggs and then they go on top.
You know what? You're right. So,
No, okay,
but
wait,
how?
hold on,
But what
hold
about
on.
the first merfolk?
Hold on, wait. She brings
Wait,
up
wait,
an
wait, wait,
interesting
wait.
point.
Hold up.
She brings up an
Fish
interesting
are
point.
usually hermaphrodites.
That is true. She brings up an interesting point because while yes, that's how a lot of some fish do, there are some fish that do carry the eggs. So what is like I know horse like for example horseshoes or not horseshoes, what is it, seahorses, there you go, seahorses, the father carries the eggs and then births them. So would these merfolk carry something of a similar aspect?
Well, yeah. If you are a
I feel like
seahorse
probably, depending on
merfolk,
what they are.
probably, yeah.
Or would it be also like depends on the specific merfolk of like each merfolk species, where it's like, oh yeah, this is a cloud, and then this is a seahorse
Yeah.
one. They can't mix
Also-
whatsoever.
Also, in my terminology, I'm using merfolk as the general term, kind of, because I feel like you could very quickly get to different species. Like there's so many different species of sharks that shark wolf merfolk would probably just be their own creature.
Probably. But then you also, well, I mean,
Also,
yeah.
they probably wouldn't get along.
Oh no, absolutely not. They might be like one of those like oh, but see that runs into the territory of like what happened with the orcs, where it's like, oh yeah, they're people think they're all brutes and whatnot, and they're not. But like, you know, it's like, well, the sharks are kind of similar to that instance, but it's kind of putting them in a box.
Well,
I'm a
who's
character that
gonna?
breaks that
Yeah.
stereotype as well.
Oh.
What was that?
I have a orcish rogue character who their entire backstory was, since they were the litter, they weren't strong at all, but they were able to like sneak, so they couldn't get a lot of like the food from the group because they were usually fed last. So they managed to start sneaking around, grabbing pieces of it before they were allowed to.
Aren't rogues
Eventually-
no longer able to do that, or no longer able to be rogues?
We
Or
don't.
you
We
sneak
don't.
who the fuck
We don't
cares?
practice. We don't practice 60. We don't practice 60 in this house.
But the entire build was about thrown objects as well, and they would fight with a bunch of throwing knives. Where they lacked strength, they were very dexterous and sneaky, so they were just constantly throwing knives from anywhere.
Would they take the bar brawler fee for like improvised weapons?
They could. What it was
Figure it out.
actually, it was mostly rogue and then a little bit of fighter to get thrown weapon style fighting.
Yeah.
I never got to use it, but I wanted to, just because it was an interesting build and I like the backstory of that character. 'Cause it's not like the edgy rogue backstory. It's like I was a runt, so.
I do like
I feel
how.
that's typically how like it works with anywhere.
Yes.
And then you have Cat here that's just, you know, Cat.
She's making coral.
Yeah.
Is she making coral? She looks
Yeah,
like
she's making
thin.
coral. She's
Huh.
made something for every cool thing we've been talking about.
Yeah. I'm on coral right now.
It's gonna be, you know what it is? It's gonna be like
Can you
an
draw Exodia?
amalgamation of like.
I don't even
collages.
remember what that is.
You don't know Exodia?
You don't know what Exodia is?
Zodia!
You what? Okay, no, this is like a boy thing, man. This is a boy thing. Man.
It's an our age thing. People aren't gonna know
Yeah,
what Exodia fucking is in a couple
is
years.
Hey,
than us.
I mean,
I
bulky.
am older.
Exactly. This isn't.
Well,
like
no,
a
it's
bulky.
both.
You
It's
know what this-
yes, Squee.
I have a confession to make.
What
What is your
confession?
confession?
I am currently working on an Exodia deck and paper right now.
You just
I
like
started
drawing
talking
cards,
to
don't you?
somebody. You like drawing cards, don't you, Squidward? Yes. Yuki and I, by the way, before we get done, his name's
He's
Yuki,
100%
or
person to use
whatever.
pot of greed.
He found a. I would use Pot of Greed. And I will draw 3 cards.
No, it's
But we found a world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Not an anime.
Yeah.
Not yet.
And I played an Exodia deck, and it's all spells and like maybe a few monsters and then Exodia's pieces. like,
Yes,
I-
I know exactly your type
Needless,
of
I
deck.
started getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi. So if you want to play Master Duel, essentially,
See, I have a confession to make.
I
and that
probably
is,
will.
You're gay?
I have never played an actual game of Yu-Gi-Oh. It has.
Good
I don't
for
think
you,
Cat
please
has
don't.
either.
I think I've played it like once as a kid. I don't remember.
And then you
though.
just said, nah.
Well, it's because I was back when I was like into anything my brother was, so like I played with him
Ah.
once or something,
Oh, okay.
and then just never played again because he got into other stuff.
Were you the type of sister
I
that
just
was
bought a
like,
new starter
"Oh, yeah,
deck
my
called
big
a
brother's
Code
in
Breaker.
this, let me get into it, and then like as soon as he drops it, you drop it.
I entirely missed your question, I'll be honest.
I said, were you the type of sister to like, as soon as your big brother got into something, you were like, oh, I want to join.
Basically. I know I played like Warhammer with him.
You're a cool. You're a cool sister. You were a cool sister. Then.
I did Magic with him.
Okay, never mind. I'll revoke my statement.
Damn.
No.
Like literally whatever he was playing with his friends, I
bro?
wanted to try. Because he was older brother. And
How old?
he was
wait,
cool.
how much of an age difference is there?
5 years.
Well, yeah, of course you did. You were
I can
like
see.
older brother, cool.
Yeah.
Big.
I want to
brother.
play with him.
I want to play with Big Brother. He's doing skate tricks and freaking Tony Hawk Simulator.
I have
want to try.
an older sister. Both her and I are the disappointments of the family on my father's side.
Absolutely, I can feel that. I can understand that 100%.
Her less so because we both quit sports. My father's side is very sporty. Every sports did.
Mhm.
She quit and did music. I quit and made nothing of my life.
You're making
I'm a
content.
fucking anime girl on the internet.
Exactly, you make content.
I'm a VR chat e-girl, bitch.
I know. I think. My dad wanted me to be. God, my dad wanted me to be. At first, it was a.
My
football
dad
player,
wanted me to be an idiot.
and then he went. Strangely enough, he went to soccer, and then after I think a year or two, he went. No, not even a year. Less than a year. He then went back to football, then switched me to volleyball when he got into it. And then after that, he
Yo, I'll
was
play
like,
some
"All right,
volleyball
you're
with you."
not Get. I'm gonna focus on. I'm gonna make the other kids that I have. I'm gonna make them do the sports that I want them to do. You can just do whatever.
That is certainly a choice.
Hmm.
I was like, the moment I realized, hey, I can do whatever.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh,
Freedom.
this wasn't what I was looking for, but this is cool. And now,
Oh, you
I
found
wanna
another
s- I don't-
subject?
yes, I did. I don't know what these actually are because I've never used them, but they have a cool title. And I'm starting with Kat again because she normally gets us a good baseline.
Okay, okay.
So when
What is
you
it?
hear, I'm gonna just say the title. So every monster in this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, technically kind
Oh,
of
maybe grab my monster
5 and
encyclopedia.
6. Oh god. So there is a sub thing of star spawn. What do you think
What?
of when you hear star spawn?
Oh.
Kat?
Like Celestials, but not?
I think I'm about to have a good time with something.
Maybe like a
That
I'll say-
sounds like
Yeah.
a fun
So I'll give you a little bit more to go off of. It seems like they all share a connection to cometry, like comets.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
about to say, what the fuck is commentary?
So, first off, just so that I get this out of the way, Hugo, thank you for the follow. Trying to find a good time to cut into
So,
that.
hello.
And then,
Squee, for context,
so
I asked her what she
aliens?
thinks of the star spawn.
it feels
Yeah, I
like
think
excuse
about
for
having a good time.
aliens.
That sounds like a porn star name.
Oh my
Oh
lord.
god. So you think aliens, Kat?
Mhm.
That,
Even better.
that does make sense because they respond among the stars.
Yes.
So
Fun.
what comes into my brain whenever I come, because again, because a lot of people go off of just bestiary and then they just look up something and then they don't really read about them. They just look and see if it looks like something that's not a pain in the ass to actually run. And then they're like, okay, sure, that can be the enemy. So a lot of the same beasts and creatures get used. So we're trying to, with this series, go to the things that are weird or kind of more a little bit out there or non-conventional uses of stuff. So when I think of star spawn, I either think aliens or I think literally coming out of a comet or are part of the comet. So like the
That makes me
leftover
think
rock.
of one of my campaigns I've done. Well, not done, but wanted to do. My overly ambitious one is similar to like things coming out of comets, except it's basically a campaign where you can have multiple different parties all kind of work together with multiple DMs, and everybody's centered upon this one area. The rest of the world is basically fucked by this thing that hit, and there's like multiple hundreds of them around. And the further up in level you go, the higher up the rank you go in the city, the further into the infected area of this thing. And at the very end of it, you find out that all of these things were technically eggs. So now you must destroy them. And yeah,
That's pretty cool.
That would be too bad.
the overly ambitious
Yeah.
part more comes from the weapon. Is a beam weapon because it's a sci-fi fantasy. And it's all a bracelet, and the weapon levels up with you. So if bulky you wanted to be a gunslinger, it would basically make a kind of like a cyber weapon in the shape of a gun, whereas if Desmond over here wanted to use sword and shield, his would basically take the form of a sword and shield.
Mhm.
And
Also,
each one levels up with you in its own skill tree.
oh,
Hmm.
Happy New Year, Dad.
also, I have a dog in my lap now.
Nice.
Doggle?
If you don't send pictures within the next 5 seconds, I will kill you.
I don't know
There-
if
there
it'll
will
be
be a
easier
prime
for a
stat
picture. Give me a
1,
second, I'm gonna try.
2,
I had to take the picture, that's not fair.
3, 4,
Hey.
5. Alright, guys. I hope you don't like Volky very much.
Hey. I look like
Hey,
shit,
hey,
and I don't care. I'm actually sending it to, you know what, Des, when you're here, so I had to send it in the chat here.
Okay.
This is also technically face reveal, I guess. Not for
Yay.
chat.
I've seen your face, bitch.
Well, yes, you have.
Yeah,
I'm
you told them to
imagining
play that.
Volky as.
I also have my beard grown out when it's normally shaven.
Oh, you have a beard?
Well, it's not very visible. It's not very visible. I normally keep clean shaven, so but my hair grows incredibly fast.
Okay, that is a cute ass dog. But
Yikes.
you look nothing like nothing
Yeah,
like I
no,
thought
yeah.
you'd be.
No, of course not.
Your voice is like vastly.
Volky looks like a cartoon person, but Swedish. Like a Swedish cartoon person, like Family Guy or something.
Exactly.
I will say, Volky
Do you see-
does still look stoned.
Yes, no, I always look stoned. I've gotten asked if I am
Volky's not
stoned
being
or if
misunderstood
used weed.
I don't know why, but like Volky looks like he sounds like, "Hey, how are you? You doing good? Oh, that's great. Yeah, yeah, yeah."
No,
All
and
y'all
I'm not
seem
built
like
like that at
The
all.
gathering is gonna be calling in at 7 o'clock. I'd hope.
Hey Yuki, or not Yuki. Hey Volky, give me a
Yes.
card recommendations for your exo kit deck. Please send them to me.
I will,
I
but
need
if you like gambling, there is one. I think it's Ace. Cup
Yes,
of
it's
Ace.
just really-
Look up Cup of Ace. The running joke is, it's just Pot of Greed, half the time. Anyway, so when
I
I
know this
think, when I think Star Spawn, to get back to that, I was also going to add a little bit more context. It is listed, all of them are listed as aberrations. If you did not know, that just basically means alien and is the same classification as something like a beholder.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
it is a blanket term for alien. So there's probably ways to make the Star Spawn look that are official. We don't care.
Have you seen an aboleth?
An aboleth? Agalith?
Aboleth.
Probably.
Abolition.
I hope you know, Volky, there's an uncertain chance I'm buying a place in the
I told you would like it.
So actually, I have a question for Volky.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on a false Hydra?
Oh, we actually were talking about this.
Oh, we're back at the false Hydra. This was the
Hey.
whole idea.
How did we
started,
come
literally.
back? This is
you
literally how
serious?
this
It all
concept of
comes
stream
full
came
circle.
up. I guess it makes sense.
I came in.
So me, Cat, and Squee all talk, and somehow we all three have not like opposite, but we all have differing ideas of how we would run, and also what our false hydras would look like. Because normally the way that they look is just uninspired, in my opinion. They just kind of look like they didn't know what to make them look like.
They look terrifying. What are you talking about?
That's because they do.
They do, but it's unsettling. Not
for Chad to know, the false hydra is a fleshy sack of like, they're all white. They have eyeless faces, but they're also human faces. They are in no way shape or form similar to a hydra like you would come where you cut off one head and more grow.
Yes, and they also don't share many attacks with an actual hydra either. So the way that you run a hydra and a false hydra are entirely different.
Yes, because a false hydra, chat, basically, you don't know what it is. You cannot know what it is, and you will never perceive it, even if it's right in front of you, until it's too late and already about to eat you. Then, for the first time, you will see the false hydra, and then nobody will remember who you are.
So before I say anything else, I'm going to preference this whole conversation with there are so many monsters and beasts in the D&D catalog that if you ran them correctly as they would in the world, without giving any kind of compassion towards your players, and you just threw them at a fan and said blend, you would party wipe with over half, I would almost even say over 3/4 of the bestiary.
Absolutely.
If you ran them correctly. The false hydra is almost fucking offender number 1.
It's an interesting idea and plot device, but when implemented itself into the D&D universe as a fightable boss, it is so fucking difficult and it will easily wipe out your.
It's also hard to run correctly even as is and still be interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
Ideally, it's really good, but put into practice, not many people are going to be able to get it in one go.
The best way I can say to run it is you have to have that one blind guy who can see it because he's deaf to the song, and nobody believes him.
Yes. Oh yeah, the one deaf guy.
Shut the fuck up! I can't see you.
And Cat is already starting.
Look, I'm half distracted, but it's. Basically, you need the deaf guy. He can't hear, so he constantly sees the hydra because he can't hear the song.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to believe him, but he comes to the party eventually and is begging for help at this point. He's seen multiple people go away, but he does not remember who they are. He just knows that people are disappearing to this thing because he sees them get dragged away before forgetting who that person was at all. But then, the party might not even take that hook and just kill the crazy guy.
Yeah, that actually does remind me of a D&D plot that I tried. I wanted to try doing, with conspiracy theories, which was it's basically the entirety of the flat Earth theory, but with domes, so it's a whole conspiracy of
it's flat Earth theory, but what if?
Yeah, basically what if in D&D, where it's players are living in a town or in a city, and they've lived there their whole lives, they've been raised and whatever, they've never ventured out because they've been told by the city lives that, hey, outside in the great beyond the forest, there is a lot of monsters, and occasionally get monsters help prove the theory. So citizens and everyone.
You were kind of cutting out there.
You're cutting out a lot.
Okay, that wasn't just me.
Yeah.
No,
he
it was not
just
just
barely cutting out.
Ta-da!
Hey,
Hello.
So,
Desmond, stop dying. It's illegal.
I'm sorry. So the thing was is that
You
the
can't do that in
citizens
this
are all living
economy.
in this city, and they're living their lives normally. However, when the players are given a quest to go, let's say, do something medial or like remedial, like picking flowers or like herbs or whatever, they encounter a crazy old man that's wearing a silver hat. And this silver hat is the thing that lets him see the truth of the conspiracy. So the players will interact with him. Some might take the hat, some might just kill him, some might just talk to him, and if they talk to him, he'll be all deranged and he'll be like, you'll see the truth. The truth is everywhere. You're all blind. You're all whatever. And when the players either A, ask him what he's talking about, or try to interact with him more, guards will appear and go, hey, shoo off. They go to the players and they're like, hey, did he bother you guys? You guys okay? Whatever it be. What questions did he ask you? What was he talking about? Oh, just ignore what he's talking about. He's a crazy old man. Don't believe anything he says. But if the players do steal his hat and take it away from him and they wear it, they will see that the bright blue sky that they've been looking up at, that's all nice and beautiful and got a rainbow in the background, is pitch black. It is nighttime, there is no sun, there is not even any moon. It is just stars. So they take
You
the
do
hat
not
off,
recognize the bodies in the water.
and then back to regular shiny sky.
You only want to laugh at that one.
Yeah.
So I wanted the silver to be like essentially what an aluminum hat is for like the conspiracy theory people. Just like you put the aluminum hat on, you put the silver hat on, and then you see through the lies. And I even made it to where it's like, okay, I don't want there to be an easy access of silver, because then it doesn't make sense where it's like, oh well, if I have a silver chest plate, then I should be able to see it, right? So I made it so that way it's like, okay, silver is banned throughout the city. If the guards catch you with silver, you are arrested. Even silver coins. There's no silver coins or anything like that. They use electrium as a replacement for silver. So I would make, that would obviously make people think, well, why the fuck is silver banned? That makes no sense. What's going on here? And silver is the thing that, since it's anti-magic, it lets you see through the illusion that is the dome, the thing that covers your city.
Yes.
So you know what I would like to run for a horrible idea?
What?
So you get a group of DMs together. The first session, you're running this DM's campaign in the world. The next session, you're running this DM's campaign in the same world. Then this DM's, then this DM's, then it starts at the first.
That'd be chaotic as hell.
D&D roulette.
D&D. Yeah, basically.
That's kind of interesting, though. It would be hard to keep track of all your characters, though.
I feel like it wouldn't be too hard because it's just being useful. What would be more hard is your character's action is going to have an impact on your campaign. So it's like you'll have to know like everything that's happening.
Yeah.
It would just be interesting to see how it's ran. I need to sleeve this trap fix that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of weird campaigns you could do if you just say screw party makeup. Because, like, one of the ones that I've heard that I just really like is the group of bards, just the traveling band.
Yes, like, if you ignore how difficult combat is going to be.
Yeah.
In some cases. Just
Something
go
about
on.
my favorite is because you could always do warlocks who support the same guy,
You could.
which is pretty interesting. Because then you get like, because you can't forget subclassing, so you get X levels in warlock where you have the pact with the same guy as everybody else, but then you can branch off into like paladin. And then there's also
I think-
subclasses, so the bard one would be interesting to see anyway.
Like I said, I think just keeping it, you have to stay in this class. But some of the subclasses are so incredibly different, you could probably make it work. Kind of like you could do a band of barbarians.
Mm.
And there's like some subclasses for barbarian that are in like finesse weapons, ranged weapons, magic.
Yeah. The bards work really well because the colleges. And then
Yes.
there's even the one where whatever thing is called, where you can pull off another class's spell tape for 2 spells.
Well, then wouldn't that just be oh fuck, what's that subclass of bards? I think College of Valor.
Swords, valor, glamour.
I think it's Valor because with Valor
College
you
of
can
Blade.
literally just hand pick at 6th level, like 2 or 3 spells from any class, no matter you have proficiency of it with it or not, and then you can do the same thing again at like later levels each time you level up. Or not each time you hit like a new feat within that college, you can pick an additional 2 levels from whatever class. Which, honestly,
The druid circles are also good to build an entire party around, because all of them can work wildly different.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's different druid playstyles, like my mother played druid like a tank while I played like a tool.
Yeah.
Because I would be like a snake that goes through crack, and I don't ever fight in wild shape. I use it to escape. My mother, on the other hand, turns to a saber-toothed tiger because it fights everything. I mean everything.
You gonna catch these hands eventually.
It goes, Mao.
Oh, okay. I got another one too.
You got another one?
Yeah. Okay, remember how I talked about how insanely overused draconic stuff can be because people just always go with the common stuff, except for like Deswin, you seem to actually be holding true to your specific race's beliefs and such.
I hold
A lot of
true.
people
What
don't.
do you mean? I'm confused. What do you mean by that?
Well,
I
yeah,
hold
you're-
true, thank you very much. I'm an exception.
You're a which dragon were you again?
In
You were
Campaign
gold
Overlord,
and
or-
black. You were
I'm
gold and black,
yeah.
right? Yeah, see, you play that like you're supposed to. A lot of
okay.
people just default to playing draconic beings the same.
Yeah.
No matter, despite
big
there
scary
being a
equals.
literal chromatic scale for how they are.
Okay. I see
Um,
what you mean.
another one that doesn't get used as near as much as it really should because draconic stuff is so popular is lizard folk.
True.
I don't like lizard folks too much. I think they're weird and scary.
They are, but there is some cool things you can do with lizard folk because there's
They
cool
don't really tip
stuff
the
you can.
scales for me.
But we can agree that there's some unique stuff that you can do with like some lizard folk that doesn't, because they are really good at, depending on which one it is.
No, lizard folk are actually
they-
pretty cool for D&D. They're actually now a playable race as well, and I do like the weapons and armor they typically have.
Wait,
They
so
have lizard folk. One of the new
Lizard
books
Folk's
lists
always
plays
been a
lizard.
thing for D&D.
Well, they're a playable race now. You can as a character. I think Tasha's did it.
I think it's in the new books, is what he's saying. It didn't used to be in the
Yeah.
books to be lizard
okay.
folk.
I see.
You
Like,
could be
it-
draconic
it's funny.
origin. Yeah, you could be draconic, but you couldn't be lizard. Because
Gotcha.
some people,
Yeah,
because
you
well,
have
let's just be fair.
Dragonborn and lizard folk.
Yeah,
Dragonborns are stupid though. I hate them.
yeah, because
I just
even with lizard
don't like
folk,
the
they
word.
still know draconic.
Yeah.
Like, we're not lying to ourselves and saying that dragons are not lizards. But there are so many types of other lizards out there that are not
These
dragons.
lizards evolved a lot, actually. Now that I think about it. I don't remember, like,
Yeah, I
any
know, but I'm
wild
saying I
examples.
just
Did put them in like swampy areas.
yeah, I just feel like they don't get used in campaigns because again, a lot of people there's a lot that goes into DMing a campaign. And it turns out whenever you're looking at individual combats and such and individual regions, you kind of just use whatever fits the bill the best, and you kind of go with some common subjects sometimes.
I have another question about like the common tropes.
Mhm.
And speaking of tropes, the lycanthropes. You know, the werewolves, the werebears, the wereshark. Like, I feel like they're hard to run correctly. Because they're so simple, but they're so much.
Mm.
Yes, kind of like
you could find them pretty easily.
That's a good question,
just
actually.
think, like,
yeah.
They're so like underused, but if they're used, they're not used well.
Well, also because
Because
again, in the
Now you
D&D
gotta play
setting,
around, you can get affected.
I was gonna say in the D&D setting, there's people that can change into any creature, not just a specific one.
Exactly.
So they're not gonna get used as much as like a druid would. So say, oh, I'm a werebat. I get a lot of cool things that a bat can do, but I have to shape change.
Batman.
Yes, the actual Batman. But there's
Man
disadvantages to being that. But you could then just instead be a druid and transform into a bat.
Yeah. I think the lycanthropy is good, especially like if you have a party who cares about not being a werewolf. Because let's be honest, let's say your character gets infected by lycanthropy in a fight. You can be like, okay, well, what's my advantage of being one versus my disadvantage of being one? You're going to see that, well, being a lycanthrope is actually pretty powerful. And be like, well, now I want to stay infected. I don't really care what my character.
Yeah, exactly.
And
It's
that's
just
kind
like,
of
oh,
layer to character thing.
it's like also a lot of the actual like were beasts as written in the bestiary are not changing how people think. People always think, oh, it's got to be an involuntary thing if you're infected with lycanthropy. No, you can just polymorph.
Yeah.
Once you're infected with
Yeah.
lycanthropy, you can just polymorph at that point into a specific kind.
Though doesn't it have the whole, like, you go on a rampage thing, but it's a rampage of whatever alignment the creature that you're turning into is? So, frickin' if you're a bear, that's a lawful good rampage, and you're just Smokey the Bear?
So,
It depends, I think, on that one.
So it depends. It's hard to use the stat blocks for, like, say, a werebear
Yeah.
because the actual stat block for these creatures, it's saying, hey, it can use its action to polymorph into a large bear, humanoid hybrid, or into a large bear, or back into its true form. Its statistics other than its size and AC are the same in each form. Any equipment it's wearing isn't transformed, and then it reverts to its true form when it dies. So that is the only thing that it says for shape changer, and that is the exact same except for ad lib in whichever variant you are. It's saying, hey, you can use your action to polymorph into a hybrid or the pure of whichever lycanthrope you are. You can't use equipment. or you can't. It doesn't transform with you, rather. So, like, if you're wearing armor, it's probably gonna break, but you can still use a sword if you're humanoid. Or fuck, I guess technically, if you're a wolf, you can put it in your mouth, but then you.
I don't think you'd use it very well, is the thing.
No, but you technically can.
I mean, I can't beat the sword dog from Dark Souls.
Yeah, this is a shit game.
Yeah,
This is a game.
exactly.
Damn it.
But
Man, I'm quoting.
It literally just says.
Damn.
Again, you can just polymorph into one of these with an action. You don't need everything that people put in there with, hey, you go on a rampage. That is a nerf. Just straight up. That is a homebrew nerf.
Yep.
Now, albeit a way that you're technically supposed to do this as well is, since you are part of that creature, your thinking should technically be closer to that creature than just a normal humanoid. So you're probably going to have more primal urges as a were-tiger. So you're probably going to enjoy red meat more than you used to. You're probably going to be a bit more aggressive than you used to be. You might get a bit of an
If
ego.
like, so you finish killing a bandit, and you're like, okay, well now what? We can eat him.
That's actually
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
actively
exactly.
what I did in our campaign.
Like, straight up, that is probably what would happen if you were like a were-tiger, for instance. But say that you're like a were-bat. Yeah, no, you have sunlight sensitivity now. Your perception...
Yes, Cat.
Your perception is worse in the sun. You're probably going to have to think about that. Also, you pretty much in general.
So, before lingering on too much,
Oh, yeah.
Cat and I do have to run.
Yeah.
You have to run.
So I did not mean to stop it immediately. It was more just wind down
Yeah,
conversation.
I'm not saying stop immediately,
How
wind
dare
down, but as soon as I finish this deck, I'm getting ready to finish up.
Okay.
I'm
Oh, no,
sleeping
that's
a
fair.
trap deck right now. Hey Yuki, or not Yuki, hey Volky, does extra deck go in different color card sleeves in your deck?
No, it can be the same sleeves.
Okay, but would it be beneficial in the same sleeves or different? Like, it doesn't matter.
Normally, what kind of deck box do you have? Just one that holds all your
I don't
cards
have a deck box
together?
yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
well then you would probably want to sleeve them in something different so that you can at a glance know what's in your extra deck and what's not. It would
Okay.
make
I just want to
setting
make sure
up
there
for a
wasn't like
game
illegal
easier.
terms in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, no.
Because I usually put like Commander for Magic in a different sleeve.
Actually, I'm not... I mean, you could always ask your local card shop wherever you would want to be playing this.
I would basically
But-
just be playing kitchen table. I don't have my shop plays.
Okay, well then, like I said, I don't think it matters.
Cool.
You can always
Um,
ask Reddit.
The Skeptics that came with Ash Blossom? Hell yeah.
yeah, they kind of have to give away some of the staples now because they're so necessary.
Actually, I have a very
But yeah,
question.
to kind of tie off that conversation, yeah, lycanthrope, you can do a lot with it, with the concept. It's just you have to acknowledge that what you're probably wanting to do can be accomplished by a druid as well.
Yeah.
But you can do more unique things in flavor text and character creation or enemy creation with them not
Similar
fully
to
transformed.
Vampirism as well.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot
Vampirism, I
of
feel like
different
it's
stuff.
easier to do, but it's also just not very balanced. It's supposed to be a negative thing that has its benefit, and I
Yeah.
think it does better on what the lycanthrope like rampage thing is. You need blood to keep living. Like you need it. you'll get physically weaker without it.
Correct.
But then you also have the fact that they are just a lot stronger than the general human, all this good stuff. But during the daytime, now you're gonna be weaker. So, like, do the pros outweigh the cons in your eyes? If so, whatever.
Yeah.
I think the pros always outweigh it because a lot of the downsides are negative.
Yeah, I would say the best way to say it is kind of the way I think of, or my mindset when I'm making a character, is I would rather accomplish the theme or the set goal that my character was made to fulfill than I would be as strong as possible.
Yeah.
I would rather have to take nerf to what my potential could be from the DM or from me or whatever, and still have them do what they wanted to do. Like, if I want to make someone that relies on a slot machine like style roll to cast anything, you can probably balance around that. It's just you're gonna have to accept that you're not gonna be as strong as if you were just a traditional wizard, probably.
Yeah, I can see that.
But is it more fun to play your theme?
I was talking to one of my old friends at the shop I go to, and he was running a campaign that day. One of his players is a tree folk with 30 strength because of the item, but the boss they're about to go against is all about fire.
Oh, that's evil.
So he's playing a tree folk.
Oh.
Rip my man.
But at the same
And
time, he's
apparently
probably
they
happy
annihilated
being
the
treated.
boss.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah,
I said, he's
very
probably,
free.
and like I said, that's something you can play into. It's just like, hey,
Yeah.
get that fire away from me. What are you doing?
Definitely would build like character tension, I guess you could say.
Hey, Vance.
For that battle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I just find
guess-
it funny that he's a tree with 30 strength.
Yeah. That is pretty funny.
So, since we are trying to wrap up a little bit early, is there anything anyone wants to say at the end of stream?
You can catch Kat and I Thursday playing Cast the Keka Castle Pressures.
Mm-hmm.
We will be with my dearest Yuki, the one I keep accidentally calling Bulky, because I think about them when I think about the fox. They've also been on my mind 24/7 the last week.
Bulky, when is your next stream?
Probably Sunday. Because this computer doesn't want to do anything right.
So you're going to be joining us for the Backrooms Escape together? Because I believe that's what we've said for
Hopefully,
Sunday stream.
I should be home by then.
You
That is a
are
very fun
correct among
Don't actually remember how many that can hold. Yes, my ears can move.
them.
It's 6.
So as for thing to say
I hope
before
we have enough
streaming,
slots.
probably
With Volky, that would make 6.
Okay. So,
Okay.
fingers crossed.
thing that I would say is if / perhaps when we continue this, go into it thinking you can use all of this stuff to your discretion. Like
We are
any of the
just
stuff we discussed.
brainstorming, basically.
Yeah, we're brainstorming and trying
We're
to
using this as a time to ramble.
Yep.
yeah, basically to ramble about rulings, unconventional things, player ideas. Like, mainly mine is I like to go to the weird stuff that doesn't get used.
Here's another one. If you agree with anything we said, let us know in the comments. If you disagree and think our ideas were stupid, let us know your better idea because clearly you're smarter than us. And also, that's engagement.
Yes.
Also, if you think you have a better way of running something, leave it in the comments and we will dispute you. Maybe.
We will call
Perhaps.
you
Yeah, let's have a
little
debate.
rat.
Let's debate chat.
I mean, it would be really fun to be able to pull comments on the next time we do this and actually respond to them.
Exactly, kind of like
It'd be the
we
last
pulled
hour
some.
we do.
I think we'd have to
Yeah,
start
like-
there knowing how rambly we get.
Well, yes. Well, kind of
But
like we
then-
pulled
then
even
it'll just
some
be the
ideas
entire
from
thing.
chat.
Desmond, you
Like
didn't get a
where?
chance to say when you're streaming next.
What?
Nah.
There's a reason, Cat.
Yes, because you were unaware.
So
Do you want to
for
still
me-
plug your stuff anyways?
Sure, you can follow me on Desmond the Dragon on Twitter and on Twitch. I stream with these three lovely people, and I am not
Fuck you
streaming
calling
as of
one
currently
little
mainly
dog.
because home issues. Once I am relocated, I will be able to stream more, and I should be able to stream more often. So possibly within the next few months. Hopefully.
And play.
Yeah. I also do have a YouTube channel that is by the same name, if I remember correctly. So you can check that out.
And then, Sweet, you cut out so severely, I did not catch any of what you said.
Yeah, your abyssal came out.
That was worse than his abyssal. I caught boyfriend is all I caught with that one. And welcome back, dog. I'm trying to figure out who we want to go raid now.
I said,
Carry
I
51.
said, Desmond can join us in VR chat when he moves, and then meet my boyfriend.
That is true.
yes.
Well, I've already met your boyfriend.
No.
Yeah. You can't gaslight me and think I haven't.
When?
Have you truly met him, or was
Have
he,
I truly met them? No. Have I met them?
or was he a
I think that was-
doppelganger?
I've
Was he a doppelganger?
only been with them for like a week now.
Oh, okay. So then I only met your ex then.
Yes, met old one.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, the one that randomly disappeared one day.
Poofing out of existence.
Yeah.
I think let's go raid Glorious Gaming,
I
who
have
is
one
playing
more thing to
Astro.
add for chat.
Oh. He?
If there's something specific you want us to ramble about if we ever do this again, let us know in the comments.
Yes.
We will
That
take
is a very good
suggestions.
idea.
We just started doing this because they're easy.
Yep. So I'm setting up that raid now. And as mentioned, I will be streaming again
Happy
on
New Year.
Thursday. We're doing the Castle Crashers on Thursday. I'm gonna be the Orange Knight. Squeeze obviously gonna be the green one.
I'm green.
And I'm sure he is
I'm
very much going to
green.
love
Green. I
the
am
magic.
Green. I am green. I am green. I'm gonna min-max in it, by the way. I'm letting
I
that
am
be known.
sure.
I'm only putting points into one thing.
There is a cap, so at a certain point you will have to start putting it into others. But I am sure you will start with
If I hit the
maxing out
cap, I
magic.
will hit the cap and I'll put in something else and only put it in that one. I will maximize one stat at a time.
Yep. I will see you
This
guys
is not a
next
bluff.
time.
You know I will do it.
Do his
Cat
cat.
word.
It was, yeah.
I said it first.